Have you ever been stuck in life's chaos and worn out by problems that don't seem to have a way out? This video will show you 10 Stoic lessons that have changed the way I deal with problems and made my life much simpler and calmer. Stoicism is an old theory that was followed by great people like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. It has deep ideas and useful tools that you can use right now, but be careful. These lessons aren't just catchy words. They will push you every day and, most importantly, help you take back control of your life. Don't believe until the very end. The last lesson is the key that unlocks everything and could be the turning point you've been waiting for. Before I go on, please like and share this video so that it can reach more people. If you don't want to miss any of my future videos, please follow and turn on the bell. 1. Keep things simple. When the world is full of knowledge, things and distractions all the time, being simple is a wise and brave thing to do. The Stoics teach us that getting more things doesn't make us happy. What makes us truly happy is wanting less. Why carry around things and feelings that you don't need? Making room for the important is what it means to simplify. You can find more peace and focus in your life if you learn to say no to things that don't really matter. This can be as easy as getting rid of things you don't need or want and letting go of things you can't change. Stoicism tells us to think about what's most important in our lives, how much of our stress is caused by things that aren't that important. By getting rid of the unnecessary, you get back your time, energy, and mental focus. Imagine a life where you don't have to worry about what other people want, how you compare to others, or short-lived wants. That's what simplicity gives you. Ask yourself what's most important to me, because getting rid of anything in your life, whether it's material or emotional, will make room for a fuller, more peaceful life with a clearer purpose. Giving up is not what simplicity is about, it's about getting what counts. Most too always stay calm, and even though the world is crazy, you are the only one who can choose to let that crazy into your heart. The Stoics say that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can change how we react to them. It takes a lot of strength to stay calm during a storm. It's not what happens around you that gives you power, but how you choose to deal with it. When you choose peace of mind in the face of problems, you not only protect your inner peace, but you also keep your mind clear, which helps you make better choices. Stoicism tells us that acting on impulse only makes things worse both inside and outside of us. Conscious pause means to stop. Take a deep breath, think about what's going on, and act logically instead of emotionally. To be calm, you need to be in charge of your emotions. It means being able to look a problem in the eye and act logically. Instead of out of fear or anger, you regain your power and keep your focus on what really matters. When you don't let outside events control you, then being calm will protect you and give you power no matter what. 3. Stay in the moment. The past is over, and we don't know what will happen in the future. For a while, though, we live our lives filled with doubts or fears about what might have been. The Stoics teach us a very important truth. We only have the present moment. Holding on to the past or looking forward to the future takes our attention away from the present moment, which is what's most important. It's not just a nice idea to live in the present. It's a way to be free. Your mind is freed from the weight of things you can't change and the stress of things that haven't happened yet. When you focus on the present, there are no more mistakes that haunt you, and the future doesn't scare you. Things you can change are only the things you do right now. Think about what you could get done if you stopped thinking about things that don't matter and only thought about what you could do today. You have a new chance every day to do your best and act with purpose and focus. Not only does living in the present bring you peace of mind, but it also gives you the power to make better choices. Enjoy the little things and build a stronger future through the choices you make today. 4. Do what you want to say. Stoicism tells us of an important truth. Real worth is found in what you do, not what you say. In a world where many people look for approval and validation from others, what you do will always be more important than what you say. Everyone doesn't need to know about all of your accomplishments or your plans ahead of time. There's no need to shout about real success. It speaks for itself. Being humble and sure of yourself means letting your deeds speak for you. People who really get things done don't like to brag. Instead, they work quietly, focused on their goals, and trust that the results will speak for themselves. If you follow this way of thinking, you won't be stuck trying to get approval or praise all the time, because what you say or plan won't matter. In the end, what you actually do is what matters. You show a lot of confidence when you let your deeds speak for you. Only impress yourself. Don't try to impress other people, and that peace of mind, that ability to focus on the work instead of the noise, is what will get you to the top. Stay quiet while you work. Keep your eyes on the goal and let everyone else see what you've done. 5. Every problem is a chance to learn. The Stoics teach us that every problem is really a chance to do something great. We don't have to see problems or issues as things that hold us back. Instead, we can see them as teachers who help us grow. There will never be an easy road in life. What makes a difference is how we choose to deal with problems. While some give up at the first challenge, the Stoics adopt the mindset that there is a lesson to be learned in every challenge. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? You can learn something useful from every mistake you make, and every failure shows you how to get better. Take this view of things, and problems will stop being frustrating. Instead, they will become turning points that push you to grow as a person the way you think is important. Be thankful for every problem you face, because it makes you think in new ways and makes you stronger, more tough, more creative, and in the end, smarter. While it's easy to wish for a life without problems, the times when we grow the most are usually the ones when things are the hardest. Getting in the way of your goals is not a bad thing. It makes you stronger. 6. You have happiness inside you. Being happy doesn't rely on anything or anyone else. That's one of the most important lessons of Stoicism. In a world that constantly tells us that happiness comes from things, accomplishments, and other people's approval, Stoicism gives a more lasting truth. Real happiness comes from inside you. You leave yourself open to harm. When you look for happiness in other people or things, things can be lost. People can change, and situations can become hard to predict. Your health and happiness will always be at risk if they rest on something you can't change. The Stoics tell us to find happiness that isn't changed by what's going on in the world. How can we get to that place of happiness inside? It's about getting to know yourself better, being thankful, and being emotionally strong. If you want to find peace, don't focus on what other people value. Take some time to think about what you have, who you are, and how important life is. This kind of happiness can't be taken away, so you can't be unhappy without a doubt. You will be in charge of your own happiness, no matter what happens around you. Being truly powerful isn't about what you have, but about how you see life. 7. Do not cause needless fuss. One of the main things that wears us down emotionally is drama, and we often get involved in things that don't help us. Stoicism tells us to stay away from people and things that don't help our inner peace and lessen the chaos that isn't necessary. Not only does getting involved in pointless fights, talk, or other people's problems drain our energy, but it also takes our attention away from what really counts. Learning to tell the difference between things that need your attention and things that don't is a key part of living a simple life. Do you ask yourself, how does this directly affect me? Will it make me better? Take a step back. If the answer is no, you don't have to disagree with everyone or help solve every problem. You can protect your emotional and mental health by staying away from the drama. Do not waste your energy on issues that do not concern you. Instead, focus on what matters most to you, your goals, your real relationships, and your own growth as a person. Taking this stance will help you avoid stress that isn't required and lead a more healthy and peaceful life. Don't forget that stress can't change you unless you let it get away from the chaos around you, and you'll feel more at peace with yourself. Your peace is more important than any trouble in the world. 8. Be not affected by what other people say. The views of other people are just that, opinions. We let what other people think of us affect us a lot of the time, which can make us lose who we really are. Being able to be true to ourselves is what makes us truly free. According to Stoicism, the things that other people say and think about you don't make you who you are. You become a prisoner of other people's standards when you are always looking for approval from other people. The need to please other people affects every choice you make, which pulls you away from your real values and goals. Don't try to get other people to like you. Instead, pay attention to your beliefs, your goals, and your mental health. It takes guts to adopt this mindset, but it is freeing. Being at peace with yourself is possible no matter what other people think. If you do what is right according to your values, you should ask yourself, am I doing what I think is right? If the answer is yes, then go ahead without worrying about what other people will think. Being honest and living by your own rules gives you real freedom. Don't let other people's opinions get in the way of your plans. You are the one who has to live with the choices you make in the end, so make choices that show who you really are. 9. It is good to be patient when people want things right away and value them more than things that will last. Waiting is a very useful trait. The Stoics teach us that it takes time and effort to achieve anything good in life. Things that matter like long-term goals, deep connections, and personal growth don't just happen quickly. It's easy to get impatient when we are trying to solve problems or reach our goals. If we don't get results as fast as we'd like, we might get angry, but that anger takes our attention away from the road. It's important to remember that even if we can't see our goal right away, every little step we take gets us closer to it. Having patience also shows that we value ourselves and the process. Every try, every loss, and every win is a part of the process. Learn to be patient and enjoy the process. This will help you value the change that happens along the way. Keep this in mind when you feel down or uncertain. Good things take time. Don't rush your growth. Have faith that your hard work will pay off at the right time. Patience will not only help you reach your goals, but it will also fill your life with useful things. 10. Keep going. Even though things are hard, there are a lot of problems and difficulties in life. To be successful, you have to go through hard times. We learn from the Stoics that trouble is not a sign of failure, but an important part of the way we get where we want to go. When things get hard, persistence is our best friend. You can either give up when things go wrong, or you can keep going. What makes a difference is picking the second choice, keeping your eyes on your goals, even when the way ahead seems dark or unclear, is what it means to persevere. Every mistake and failure is a chance to learn and get better. Always keep in mind that big goals are often reached after many failed tries. Not only does persistence help you reach your goals, it also makes you stronger and more resilient. When problems look like they might get you down, remember why you are trying. Why did you start in the first place? Having a sense of purpose can make you more determined and push you to keep going. So don't let problems get you down. You get closer to your goal with each step, no matter how small. Don't give up. Each time you try, you get stronger and better at what you're doing. You will reach your goals if you don't give up. Let's dive further. Have you ever been stuck in life's chaos and worn out by problems that don't seem to have a way out? This video will show you 10 Stoic lessons that have changed the way I deal with problems and made my life much simpler and calmer. Stoicism is an old theory that was followed by great people like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. It has deep ideas and useful tools that you can use right now, but be careful. These lessons aren't just catchy words. They will push you every day and, most importantly, help you take back control of your life. Don't leave until the very end. The last lesson is the key that unlocks everything and could be the turning point you've been waiting for. Before I go on, please like and share this video so that it can reach more people. If you don't want to miss any of my future videos, please follow and turn on the bell. 1. Keep things simple. When the world is full of knowledge, things, and distractions all the time, being simple is a wise and brave thing to do. The Stoics teach us that getting more things doesn't make us happy. What makes us truly happy is wanting less. Why carry around things and feelings that you don't need? Making room for the important is what it means to simplify. You can find more peace and focus in your life if you learn to say no to things that don't really matter. This can be as easy as getting rid of things you don't need or want and letting go of things you can't change. Stoicism tells us to think about what's most important in our lives. How much of our stress is caused by things that aren't that important? By getting rid of the unnecessary, you get back your time, energy, and mental focus. Imagine a life where you don't have to worry about what other people want, how you compare to others, or short-lived wants. That's what simplicity gives you. Ask yourself what's most important to me, because getting rid of anything in your life, whether it's material or emotional, will make room for a fuller, more peaceful life with a clearer purpose. Giving up is not what simplicity is about. It's about getting what counts most too. Always stay calm, and even though the world is crazy, you are the only one who can choose to let that crazy into your heart. The Stoics say that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can change how we react to them. It takes a lot of strength to stay calm during a storm. It's not what happens around you that gives you power, but how you choose to deal with it. When you choose peace of mind in the face of problems, you not only protect your inner peace, but you also keep your mind clear, which helps you make better choices. Stoicism tells us that acting on impulse only makes things worse both inside and outside of us. Conscious pause means to stop. Take a deep breath, think about what's going on, and act logically instead of emotionally. To be calm, you need to be in charge of your emotions. It means being able to look a problem in the eye and act logically. Instead of out of fear or anger, you regain your power and keep your focus on what really matters. When you don't let outside events control you, then being calm will protect you and give you power no matter what. 3. Stay in the moment. The past is over, and we don't know what will happen in the future. We do, however, spend a lot of our lives feeling bad about what could have been or feeling bad about what was. The Stoics teach us a very important truth. We only have the present moment. Holding on to the past or looking forward to the future takes our attention away from the present moment, which is what's most important. It's not just a nice idea to live in the present. It's a way to be free. Your mind is freed from the weight of things you can't change and the stress of things that haven't happened yet. When you focus on the present, there are no more mistakes that haunt you, and the future doesn't scare you. Things you can change are only the things you do right now. Think about what you could get done if you stopped thinking about things that don't matter and only thought about what you could do today. You have a new chance every day to do your best and act with purpose and focus. Not only does living in the present bring you peace of mind, but it also gives you the power to make better choices. Enjoy the little things and build a stronger future through the choices you make today. 4. Do what you want to say. Stoicism tells us of an important truth. Real worth is found in what you do, not what you say. In a world where many people look for approval and validation from others, what you do will always be more important than what you say. Everyone doesn't need to know about all of your accomplishments or your plans ahead of time. There's no need to shout about real success. It speaks for itself. Being humble and sure of yourself means letting your deeds speak for you. People who really get things done don't like to brag. Instead, they work quietly, focused on their goals, and trust that the results will speak for themselves. If you follow this way of thinking, you won't be stuck trying to get approval or praise all the time, because what you say or plan won't matter. In the end, what you actually do is what matters. You show a lot of confidence when you let your deeds speak for you. Only impress yourself. Don't try to impress other people, and that peace of mind, that ability to focus on the work instead of the noise, is what will get you to the top. Stay quiet while you work. Keep your eyes on the goal and let everyone else see what you've done. 5. Every problem is a chance to learn. The Stoics teach us that every problem is really a chance to do something great. We don't have to see problems or issues as things that hold us back. Instead, we can see them as teachers who help us grow. There will never be an easy road in life. What makes a difference is how we choose to deal with problems. While some give up at the first challenge, the Stoics adopt the mindset that there is a lesson to be learned in every challenge. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? You can learn something useful from every mistake you make, and every failure shows you how to get better. Take this view of things, and problems will stop being frustrating. Instead, they will become turning points that push you to grow as a person the way you think is important. Be thankful for every problem you face, because it makes you think in new ways and makes you stronger, more tough, more creative, and in the end, smarter. While it's easy to wish for a life without problems, the times when we grow the most are usually the ones when things are the hardest. Getting in the way of your goals is not a bad thing. It makes you stronger. 6. You have happiness inside you. Being happy doesn't rely on anything or anyone else. That's one of the most important lessons of Stoicism. In a world that constantly tells us that happiness comes from things, accomplishments, and other people's approval, Stoicism gives a more lasting truth. Real happiness comes from inside you. You leave yourself open to harm. When you look for happiness in other people or things, things can be lost. People can change and situations can become hard to predict. If you can't change something that makes you happy, then your health and happiness will always be at risk. The Stoics tell us to find happiness that isn't changed by what's going on in the world. How can we get to that place of happiness inside? It's about getting to know yourself better, being thankful, and being emotionally strong. Find peace in the things that matter to you instead of chasing what other people value. Take some time to think about what you have, who you are, and how important life is. This kind of happiness can't be taken away, so you can't be unhappy. Forget about what other people do, because you'll be in charge of your own happiness. Being truly powerful isn't about what you have, but about how you see life. 7. Do not cause needless fuss. One of the main things that wears us down emotionally is drama, and we often get involved in things that don't help us. Stoicism tells us to stay away from people and things that don't help our inner peace and lessen the chaos that isn't necessary. Getting involved in pointless fights, rumors, or other people's problems not only drains our energy, but it also takes our attention away from what really counts. Learning to tell the difference between things that need your attention and things that don't is a key part of living a simple life. Think about it. Does this have a direct effect on me? Will it make me better? It's better to take a step back if the answer is no. You don't have to disagree with everyone or help solve every problem. You can protect your emotional and mental health by staying away from the drama. Do not waste your energy on issues that do not concern you. Instead, focus on what matters most to you, your goals, your real relationships, and your own growth as a person. Taking this stance will help you avoid stress that isn't required and lead a more healthy and peaceful life. Don't forget that stress can't change you unless you let it. Get away from the chaos around you, and you'll feel more at peace with yourself. Your peace is more important than any trouble in the world. 8. Be not affected by what other people say. The views of other people are just that, opinions. We let what other people think of us affect us a lot of the time, which can make us lose who we really are. Being able to be true to ourselves is what makes us truly free. According to Stoicism, the things that other people say and think about you don't make you who you are. You become a prisoner of other people's standards when you are always looking for approval from other people. The need to please other people affects every choice you make, which pulls you away from your real values and goals. Don't try to get other people to like you. Instead, pay attention to your beliefs, your goals, and your mental health. It takes guts to adopt this mindset, but it is freeing. Being at peace with yourself is possible no matter what other people think. If you do what is right according to your values, you should ask yourself, am I doing what I think is right? If the answer is yes, then go ahead without worrying about what other people will think. Being honest and living by your own rules gives you real freedom. Don't let other people's opinions get in the way of your plans. You are the one who has to live with the choices you make in the end, so make choices that show who you really are. 9. It is good to be patient when people want things right away and value them more than things that will last. Waiting is a very useful trait. The Stoics teach us that it takes time and effort to achieve anything good in life. Things that matter, like long-term goals, deep connections, and personal growth, don't just happen quickly. It's easy to get impatient when we are trying to solve problems or reach our goals. If we don't get results as fast as we'd like, we might get angry, but that anger takes our attention away from the road. It's important to remember that even if we can't see our goal right away, every little step we take gets us closer to it. Having patience also shows that we value ourselves and the process. Every try, every loss, and every win is a part of the process. Learn to be patient and enjoy the process. This will help you value the change that happens along the way. Keep this in mind when you feel down or uncertain. Good things take time. Don't rush your growth. Have faith that your hard work will pay off at the right time. Patience will not only help you reach your goals, but it will also fill your life with useful things. 10. Keep going. Even though things are hard, there are a lot of problems and difficulties in life. To be successful, you have to go through hard times. We learn from the Stoics that trouble is not a sign of failure, but an important part of the way we get where we want to go. When things get hard, persistence is our best friend. You can either give up when things go wrong, or you can keep going. What makes a difference is picking the second choice, keeping your eyes on your goals. Even when the way ahead seems dark or unclear is what it means to persevere. Every mistake and failure is a chance to learn and get better. Always keep in mind that big goals are often reached after many failed tries. Not only does persistence help you reach your goals, it also makes you stronger and more resilient. When problems look like they might get you down, remember why you are trying. Why did you start in the first place? Having a sense of purpose can make you more determined and push you to keep going. So don't let problems get you down. You get closer to your goal with each step, no matter how small. Don't give up. Each time you try, you get stronger and better at what you're doing. You will reach your goals if you don't give up. Let's go deeper. Can you picture being able to master your mind, control what you say and do, handle your money, and manage your reactions even when things are tough? You can do all of these things, and the best part is that you are close to achieving them. You will learn today how to use this old theory to take care of your life, reach your goals, and become the best version of yourself. If you've ever felt like your thoughts, words, or actions ran your life, this video is for you. Before we start, please leave the line, "I am the master of my being," from today on in. The comments make up your mind right now to take the first step toward having full control over your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Allow us to begin. First, your words. Every word you say is like an arrow that can't be stopped or pulled back. That being said, it'll always have an effect for better or worse. As Stoicism points out, language has the power to change things. The words you use can either bring people together or keep them apart. They're more than just sounds. They show what you think, feel, and believe. Words that run freely can destroy everything in their way, just like a river that doesn't have a bed. That's why you should speak with purpose and be aware of what you are saying. Every time your words have an effect on people outside of your direct group, people around you are affected by the harmful environment you create. When you use negative words like criticism or judgment, words that hurt have a powerful effect that you can't see. They break trust, cause arguments, and make people angry when you say nice things. On the other hand, you make it easy for relationships to grow and thrive. Using the right words to show understanding, respect, and kindness is the key to making strong connections with other people. When you speak from reason instead of feeling, you make yourself stronger in any situation and open the door to new possibilities. People around you are affected by what you say, but how you talk to yourself is just as important. The way you talk to yourself inside your head determines how you relate to yourself. You are your own worst enemy. If you let criticism and bad thoughts take over, Saying negative things to yourself will only make you feel less confident and increase your feelings of uncertainty. Positive self-talk and words of support, on the other hand, are like a lantern that helps you get through rough times. You can change how you see the world and what you do by telling yourself, "I can do it," or "I am learning and getting better." The Stoics say that you decide how to see the world, and your inner words are the lens through which you choose to see it. You need to use real methods to make good use of this power. Pause before you talk at that moment. Think about whether what you are about to say will help or hurt. Taking a moment to think about what you said will help you choose words that are better, more logical, and less emotional. Think about this. Will what I say really help? If the answer is no, it might be best to be quiet. Also, the bad story needs to have its center changed. If you think something isn't working, change the way you say it. Say, "This is a step toward learning," instead of "This is a failure." The words you pick don't just describe reality. They change it. Think about the words you use as seeds that you plant all the time. If you put seeds of bad feelings, they will grow into a field full of issues, fights, and depression. But if you plant seeds of faith, hope, and happiness, you will harvest success, peace, and relationships that are stronger. Like a good farmer takes care of the land he plants, you should do the same with your words. Make sure that what you plant will grow into something good. It's possible for every word you choose to grow into something much bigger than you can think. Aim your words when you talk. It's not enough to just say what you feel. You should also use your words to make the world a better place for you and those around you. By doing this, you not only make your relationship stronger, but you also become a better person. When you speak with purpose, you are not putting limits on yourself. Instead, you are sharing yourself wisely and always looking for a balance between what you say, how you feel, and what you think. Words have force, just like thoughts do. You can choose for that energy to be positive, motivating, and life-changing. Remember that the language you use allows you to choose what kind of world you want to create every time you talk to someone or think about something alone. Number 2 affects your mental state. Your mental state is like a window that you use to see and understand the world. Everything you see will seem dark, hard, and even aggressive. If that view is clouded by bad feelings, it helps you see life clearly, find answers, and take advantage of the chances that come your way when you clean and fix it. On the other hand, Stoicism holds that your happiness and mental peace are not determined by what is happening around you, but rather by how you choose to see and deal with it. Taking charge of your emotions not only makes your life better, but it also makes the relationships you have with other people better. One of the most common issues is letting outside things decide your mood. When people face problems, complaints, or losses, they act as if these things have the power to completely change their health. If you let what's going on around you affect your mood, you'll end up with a lot of inner chaos. You stop being in charge of your feelings and become a prisoner of them, going from being happy to being sad with every blow life gives you. You get tired of reacting and lose touch with your center, the place of peace inside you that the Stoics believe is necessary for a full and healthy life. Accepting that you can change your state of mind is the first thing that needs to be done to find an answer. You are the only one who can decide how you feel. This thought, even though it's simple, is very freeing. You choose which thoughts and feelings you want to keep in your mind when you take responsibility for your mental furniture. The Stoics teach us that we can't change what happens, but we can change how we react to it. When you know this, you stop blaming other people or events and start focusing on what you can change your point of view. Being thankful every day is a strong way to change your mood. When you take the time to think about what you are grateful for, you shift your attention from what you don't have to what you do have. There is always something to be thankful for, even when things are hard. It could be the sun's warmth, the love of a friend or family member, or just the fact that you are living. Being grateful not only changes how you see things, but it also makes you stronger emotionally. When you think about the good things in life, you fill your mind with thoughts that make you feel better, instead of ones that make you feel bad regularly. Doing outdoor activities is another good habit that you can pick up. According to the Stoics, the mind and body are deeply linked. A healthy, busy body helps keep the mind clear and calm. Plus, working out makes you feel better mentally and emotionally. Endorphins are chemicals that make you feel better when you work out, even if it's just walking. Moving around can help you clear your thoughts, feel less stressed, and get your emotions back in balance. It's a real way to take charge of your mood and stop bad feelings from stopping you in their tracks. By controlling your feelings well, you not only improve your own life, but you also become an example to those around you more than you can think. The people you meet are affected by your energy and mood. You show that it is possible to find inner peace, even in the worst situations, when you stay calm when things are going crazy. Others may be inspired by your strength to find it within themselves. You stop being someone who adds to the stress of the group and become someone who calms, lifts, and changes things. Managing your happiness is something you have to do every day and promise yourself you will always do. You build a strong base from which you can face any task by taking charge of your feelings, being grateful, and taking care of your body. Life won't always be smooth or expected, but if you know how to handle your feelings well, you can get through it with ease and purpose. The idea of Stoicism says that real power comes from managing your inner world, not from controlling the outside world. That's what makes life fair and important. Third, take charge of your thoughts. It's the most powerful tool you have. Everything you see, hear, feel, and experience goes through your thoughts. First, your feelings, choices, and in the end, your life are all controlled by this one thing. But we don't use this power very often. Instead, we let our minds run on autopilot, repeating useless or negative thought patterns that keep us from being clear and at peace. To live a full and worthwhile life, Stoicism says we must first master our mind, since it is the only thing we can really control. Living without being in touch with our emotions is one of the biggest problems. We often don't notice the present moment because our minds are stuck on fears about the past or the future. Being in this state of mind makes it hard to see clearly and fills us with bad thoughts that cloud our judgment. An additional problem is that outside stimuli can easily take our attention away, and we let fleeting feelings or effects that don't help us reach our goal take over. The first thing you need to do to start directing your mind is to become more aware. Watch your thoughts like you are watching a movie. Check to see if what you are thinking helps you or hurts you. You already have power when you observe without judging. This is because you stop connecting with everything that is going through your thoughts. Do not forget that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who sees them. This lets you stop the loop of unconscious responses and choose for yourself. Another strong way to train your mind for success is to use visualization. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, believed in prime malorum, which means picturing how to deal with possible problems in a calm and wise way. This not only gets you ready for tough times, but it also trains your mind to stay focused and strong when things get tough. Think every day about what kind of person you want to be, how you want to act, and the kind of life you want to build. In this way, you are directing your mind to that place. Meditation is one of the best ways to clear your mind and make yourself stronger emotionally. You are not supposed to empty your mind. Instead, you are supposed to make room between thoughts or between a trigger and your response. When you meditate, you train your mind not to give in to every urge. This helps you act logically instead of emotionally. This is especially helpful when you are under a lot of stress or a fight. That's when self-control is your best friend. It's also important to focus. There are many things in the world that want our attention. Get better at figuring out what's important and getting rid of what's not. Focus your thoughts on things that help you reach your goals and stay true to your values. This takes discipline, but the result is a mind that is less disorganized and works better. Also important are the things you ask yourself. A lot of the time, we ask ourselves, why is this happening to me, which makes people feel like victims. What can I learn from this should be the new question, or what can I learn from this? This shift in viewpoint not only frees you from bad thoughts, but it also trains your mind to think about ways to solve problems instead of problems themselves. Lastly, change how you see yourself. Even if you don't think you're ready, be the person you want to be. The Stoics thought that doing good things every day would change who you are. Do something strict today. If you want to be disciplined, do something brave today. If you want to be brave, when you do the same things over and over, your mind will get used to them. Being able to control your mind changes everything. You can reach your full potential. If you learn to control your thoughts, feelings, and deeds, your goals will be met, and you will have a peace of mind and a sense of meaning in your life that nothing else can take away. Your mind will stop being a burden and become your best friend, giving you the focus and drive to face any task. Now you know how to live a life full of wisdom, reason, and real freedom. Number 4, take charge of your money. Money is just a tool at its core. What gives it real value is how we use it and what we think it means. The Stoics believe that money is not an end in itself, but a way to live a good life free from needless fears and able to improve one's own and others' well-being. The trouble starts when we let money run our lives, whether it's because we are not clear, we have limiting views, or we have bad money habits. Keeping track of your money is not only smart and useful, but also a sign of focus. Our ideas about money are one of the biggest problems we have to deal with. We often have genetic or social ideas that hold us back without even realizing it. Thoughts like money is the root of all evil or rich people are selfish can get in the way of our financial progress. It is important to look at these ideas and ask logical questions about them. Think about whether these thoughts help you or hurt you. Change these ideas to ones that make you feel better. Like money is a resource that helps me live better and help others. The first step in gaining control of your earnings is to adopt a new mindset. Not having clear cash goals is another problem that a lot of people have. If you don't have a clear goal, it's easy to get stuck in a loop of spending money without thinking and not making plans. The Stoics stress how important it is to be clear about everything, even money. Figure out what's important to you and set goals that are in line with that need to save money for an emergency. Want to put money into your education, want to travel the world, or start your own business? Once you know what's most important to you, make a plan that includes making a budget, saving money, spending, and keeping your assets safe. You should move toward your goals with every money choice you make. Being smart and self-controlled means living below your means. In a world that constantly encourages us to buy too much, deciding to spend only on what you need or what makes your life more meaningful is a brave and self-disciplined act. It's not about going without things, it's about planning how much you spend. Ask yourself if you really need something or if it's just a whim before you buy it. This habit will not only help you save more money, but it'll also make you less stressed out about debt and spending money. You don't need to get good at anything. You have to keep learning, and finances are no different. Spend some time learning about money matters like how to save, trade, and handle risks. The Stoics looked for wise people and teachers to help them grow as people. Also look for people who can help you figure out how to handle your money. This can be books, classes, or even people who work in the area. Every new skill or piece of information you learn brings you closer to being financially stable, which in turn makes your life more full. There are many perks to being in charge of your money besides just being financially stable. Being financially stable frees you from fears that aren't necessary, gives you the confidence to make choices, and lets you follow your dreams without any limits. It also gives you the power to help other people. Whether you do this by helping your family, giving back to your community, or investing in causes you believe in, according to the Stoics, the real value of anything, even money, is how we use it to live a good life that is in line with our values. Money is neutral. In the end, it's not good or bad. How we use it affects whether it helps us or makes us feel bad. You can change your relationship with money and use it to build a life with meaning by looking at your beliefs, making clear goals, living with direction, and always learning. Managing your money is more than just a matter of money. It shows that you are self-controlled, wise, and in line with your core values. Being sure that your money works for you instead of against you is the key to a calm and sure life. You say what you think, and what you say affects how you feel. This is the fifth link between the four, because thoughts, feelings, words, and actions are all linked. This flow will always happen when you have negative thoughts. You tend to use negative or hurtful language. These words make you feel more anxious, scared, or frustrated. These in turn affect the choices you make even when it comes to money, because when you are in a bad mood, you are more likely to act without thinking. If your money isn't in order, it can make you worry, which can make you think and speak negatively, creating a vicious circle. There is no doubt that these places are linked. When you are stressed, your thoughts don't form words. Your feelings get out of whack, and you make choices that can mess up important parts of your life, like your relationships or your money. The Stoics knew that everything in life has an effect on everything else. Marcus Aurelius's comments tell us that being able to manage our thoughts is the first step to being able to manage the rest of our lives. Mind control is important because if you don't, it will affect what you say, how you feel, and the choices you make. In real life, this will cause chaos that spreads to all areas. An issue that often comes up is that when one of these areas gets out of hand, it affects the others too. If you don't have clarity in your thoughts, it will show in your words, and bad feelings will make it hard for you to make rational choices. For instance, someone who is having money issues might feel stuck in a state of scarcity, which makes them talk about their limits all the time, which feeds their feelings of fear or uncertainty. This state not only makes their money problems worse, but it also hurts their health. In general, a holistic method is the key to finding an answer. One part of your life can't get neglected while you work on another. You need to train your mind to think clearly, your words to have meaning, your feelings to be balanced, and your money to be managed with discipline. Stoicism teaches us that everything is linked, and that making one part better will always affect the others. If you start to pay attention to and change your thoughts, they will show up in your words in a more positive way. This will make you feel better and help you make better choices in every area. Spend time on each place. At the same time, practice paying attention to your thoughts. Figure out the ones that don't help you and replace them with ones that do. Be aware of what you say and be kind to yourself while being strong. Don't use words that make people feel afraid or lost. Instead, try to say what you want to say in a way that makes people feel calm and motivated. Take care of your feelings and make it a habit to do things like meditate or think about your day every day to find inner peace. When it comes to your money, power and clarity are most important. Making small changes like sticking to a budget can give you a sense of order that makes you feel better. You start to see how hard work in one area helps you make progress in the others when you work on all four at the same time. Getting your finances in order, for example, not only makes you feel better emotionally, but it also lowers your stress level, which lets you think and talk more easily. When you are sure of yourself, you make better choices, which creates a cycle of continuous growth. This process takes time, but if you stick with it in a discipline, you can change every part of your life. This method that brings everything together has a huge effect. No matter how small the change is, it has an impact on other things. When you decide to take charge of your thoughts, they change the way you talk to yourself to be more positive and powerful. That language changes how you feel, which helps you stay calm and focused. When your emotions are in check, you can make better financial and practical choices. Without reacting as much by getting your finances in order, you get rid of a major cause of stress, which gives your mind and heart room to keep growing. Sixth is about finding balance and celebrating progress. Real progress is a slow and steady process. To make a big change in your life, the Stoics knew you have to be patient, dedicated, and ready to keep going, even when things don't go as planned. Celebrating success, no matter how small, is a powerful thing to do that will not only help you stick to your habits, but also give you the drive to keep going. Being aware of what you've already done helps you create a positive feedback loop, where each step forward makes you more determined to change. The biggest problem we often face is that we tend to only think about the things we have done wrong. We punish ourselves when we mess up, downplay our successes, and let our failures take up all of our thought room. This way of doing things is not only disheartening, but it also doesn't help us because it feeds a negative story that makes us doubt ourselves and our ability to move forward. Unbalance is another problem that happens a lot when we focus too much on one part of our lives, like work, health, or relationships. We forget about other areas that are just as important. This causes an imbalance that will eventually catch up with us. In order to deal with these issues, it is important to start noticing and praising small successes. Marcus Aurelius tells us that even small steps forward are important because they show that we are moving in the right way. Celebrate if you are able to break a bad habit for one day. Take a moment to think about how far you've come. If you reach a small goal, no matter how small it may seem, not because you want to feel good about yourself, but because you want to keep your drive strong and remind yourself that you are building on your successes to get closer to the life you want. Also, balance is very important to be good. The Stoics say you should stay away from extremes. Focusing only on personal growth is not an option. You can't ignore your relationships or your physical health in order to get ahead at work, to keep the different parts of your life. In order, you need to know yourself and keep reevaluating your goals. Think about how you are spending your time and energy and make changes so that you don't ignore any part of your life. This balance not only keeps you steady, but it also makes you happy and at peace. Being aware of yourself is another important way to find balance and enjoy the progress you've made. Take some time to think about what you did, what you thought, and how you felt. Check to see if you are going in the right way and getting things done that are in line with your goals and values. If you see places where you need to improve, don't be too hard on yourself when you make changes. Being self-aware doesn't mean blaming yourself for things you haven't done. Instead, it helps you see how you can get better. Adding these habits to your routine will have a huge effect on your life. Honoring your accomplishments keeps you going because each small win gives you the energy to keep going. Keeping the different parts of your life in order will help you escape burnout and live a fuller, more meaningful life. You can handle problems better when you know yourself well. This helps you stay focused on your goals in spite of problems. It's not always smooth or straightforward progress, but that doesn't make it less important. Last but not least, life isn't about being perfect. It's about making a promise to always get better. Remember that every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to the life you want. Celebrate your progress and change your plans as needed. Taking a Stoic view of things can help you see clearly and give you the drive to build a life with purpose, balance, and meaning. Thoughts are the source of everything we do. So number 7 helps you become more aware of them. What you think shapes what you say and do, and in the end, it shapes who you are and what happens to you. However, your thoughts will have power over you if you don't. A thought that you can't control can ruin your life by making you feel worried, scared, or lost. On the other hand, a thought that is deliberate and based on reason and ethics can help you build a successful and meaningful life. Stoicism tells us that the best way to do this is to practice awareness, which means being able to watch our minds clearly and without judging them as most people do, they let their minds wander. This lack of mental control not only causes chaos inside, but it also keeps bad patterns going. Think about how one thought of insecurity can set off a chain of feelings and actions that make you feel even more insecure. Mindfulness, on the other hand, helps you notice these trends before they take over. When you have bad thoughts, you can't stop them from happening. What you need to do is see them for what they are. Just ideas that can't change you unless you give them power. The first step to clear thinking is to notice your ideas without judging them. It was called examining your impressions by the Stoics. When you have a thought, ask yourself, is this true? Is it helpful based on what's true or on an assumption? This practice gives you a break between the stimulus and the reaction, so you can choose how to respond instead of being forced to say, you believe I'm not good enough. But don't just accept that thought. Why do you think that? What proof do you have for it? Is that thought really helpful to you? After noticing a bad thought, you should question it and replace it with a more positive and reasonable one. Adopting a fair and positive view is what this means. Not telling yourself lies with empty platitudes. When you meet a task and think, this is too hard, change your thought to it might be hard, but I have the tools to try. This small change in the way you talk to yourself has a huge effect on how you feel and what you do. Mind is a strong tool, and you can change your life by actively controlling it. Mindfulness exercise every day makes this skill stronger daily. Take a few minutes to sit in silence and watch your thoughts without getting caught up in them. Imagine that they are clouds moving easily through the sky. When your thoughts start to wander to fears or other things that aren't important, just bring them back to the moment. This exercise not only helps you become more clear, but it also makes it easier to stay in the present, which is where life really happens. This habit will have an effect on every part of your life. When your mind is clear and focused, you can make smarter choices, handle problems gently, and act based on reason instead of emotion. By questioning negative thoughts and forming more positive ones, you make your mind work in a way that helps you instead of hurting you. These new ways of thinking will become habits that help you live a better, more worthwhile life. Over time, Stoicism tells us that we are not our thoughts, but rather the things that we notice about them. This difference gives us freedom because it means we can pick and choose what to think about and how to understand our events. Thoughts are like seeds. The food you grow in your life will depend on what you think about. You can build a life full of virtue, clarity, and purpose by practicing awareness and planning your ideas. This is the way to real freedom inside 8th, how words affect self-esteem. Words have a lot of power. It's more important than what you say to others. That what you say to yourself shapes how you see the world, how you act, and how other people see you. Your thoughts come out in the form of words, not just sounds or symbols. They can be used to build or destroy inside and out. The Stoics knew this and told us to be aware of the words we use both when we talk to other people and when we talk to ourselves. When you say bad things to yourself, you plant the seeds of doubt, fear, and nervousness. Thoughts like I'm never good enough or I always mess up are not just passing feelings. Your mind starts to believe them to be true. This kind of language has a direct effect on your self-esteem because it makes you think less of your skills and keeps you stuck in a loop of putting yourself down and not having faith in yourself. Your mind hears everything you say, and the things you say become commands for your subconscious, which shapes how you feel and behave. Positive self-talk isn't just a fun activity. It's a deliberate practice that can change your life. It changes your mindset a lot to talk to yourself with confidence and positive words. When you tell yourself things like, I am capable, I can handle this, or every day I am growing, you are not ignoring problems or mistakes. You are choosing to focus on what you can do instead of what you can't. Your character is built on the words you use to describe yourself. Over time, these words affect what you think, what you do, and what happens to you. Words also have an effect on how you talk to other people. The way you talk about yourself in public tells both other people and your own mind something. You are strengthening that picture in your mind if you constantly put yourself down or make self-critical comments in front of others. Instead, when you talk about yourself with respect and confidence, you not only give off a stronger impression, but you also reinforce that impression within yourself. The Stoics told us to be careful with our words as if they were extensions of our thoughts, which they are. Positive statements don't mean you are living in a fantasy or ignoring the things in your life that could be better. Understanding your skills and focusing on what you can change are what it means, not dwelling on the things you can't change. If you fail at something, for example, you can say, "This experience is teaching me something valuable," instead of "I'm a disaster." This change in words changes not only how you feel, but also how you deal with problems. The words you use can help you become more resilient when you talk with confidence and tell yourself good things. You train your mind to think about answers and options instead of problems and restrictions. This change in the way you talk to yourself has an effect that builds over time every day. The things you say make your mind feel better and make it easier for you to deal with problems in a responsible way. Stoicism tells us that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can change how we think about them and what we do about them. Words play a big role in that. You are in charge of your self-esteem and how others see you. When you choose words that boost your confidence over words that bring you down, this power doesn't come right away, but with practice and consistency, you can change the way you think and talk so that they help you move forward. Words can either boost your self-esteem and make it last, or they can break it down. Every word you say gives you a chance to feed your mind with thoughts that make you stronger, or to keep telling stories that hold you back. You can change how you feel about yourself and how you deal with life by being aware of the words you use both inside and outside of yourself. It takes skill and understanding to speak with confidence, respect, and positivity. It changes how you see yourself and how the world sees you. Thought number 9 replaces bad ones with good ones. Your mind is like a glass of water. Putting your attention on the dirt will not help you clean it. If it is full of dirt, what you do is fill it up with clean water until the glass is really clean. It's the same with negative thoughts. Fighting them directly or rejecting them makes them stronger because what you refuse stays, instead of using pure effort to get rid of them. The real change happens when you choose to replace them with good thoughts that feed your mind and move you forward. You will always have negative thoughts. They come from bad events in the past, fears, doubts, or just the way people are. What makes them important, though, is not that they exist, but what you do with them. If you think something bad, like "I'm not good enough," over and over again, you are strengthening that thought. It's like giving water to a plant. You don't want to grow. You don't have to feed that thought, though. Instead, you can replace it with a positive one, like "I am strong and capable and I can handle this challenge." This small change is not just a mental exercise. It's a powerful tool that changes how you see and deal with life. Being aware of your thoughts is the first step in replacing them. You need to be aware of what's in your head. The Stoics said that we should look at our ideas and feelings without identifying with them. In other words, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who sees them. When you have a bad thought, don't let it control how you feel. Instead, remind yourself that it's just a thought and not the truth. You can change it with something better and more useful once you know what it is. You don't have to ignore reality or act like everything is fine. When you use thought replacement, you are not changing. "I have a problem" to "everything is fine," because that would be lying to yourself. You are instead picking a point of view that will help you move forward. If you are faced with a tough task and feel like "I can't do it," you can change your thought to "This is hard, but I am learning and I can try." This method keeps things honest while also giving people hope and strength. The mind is very flexible. Thinking about the same thing over and over again forms a habit. If you keep replacing negative thoughts with positive ones, your mind will start to make patterns that are more helpful on its own. It's like working out a muscle. At first, you have to work at it, but after a while it becomes natural. This mental training changes not only how you feel, but also what you do when you believe "I am capable." Your actions and choices show that you are sure of yourself, but if you tell your mind "I can't," it will look for proof to support that view, which will narrow down your options. This habit will have an effect on every part of your life. Thinking good things not only makes you feel better, but they also affect your relationships, work, and health in general. When you choose to see the good in things, even when things are hard, you build a strong mindset that lets you deal with and get through any problem. This way of thinking also changes the energy you send out into the world. People react differently to someone who is sure of themselves and positive instead of someone who is worried and negative. Just because you change your negative thoughts to positive ones doesn't mean you'll never have problems or bad feelings again. When those feelings come up, it's important to let yourself feel them and work through them. It's important not to get caught up in them, though. Whenever you think a good thought, you take charge of your mind instead of letting it run your life. The Stoics put a lot of value on this kind of self-mastery because they knew that the way we think about life has a direct effect on how we feel about it. It's important to do it every day, moment by moment. For every bad thought, there is a chance to practice replacing it. Imagine a garden in your mind. Bad thoughts are the weeds and good thoughts are the flowers you want to grow. You can't just pull out the weeds and think they'll go away. The flowers make the yard look different, so you have to keep planting, feeding, and taking care of them. Over time, you'll think clear, strong, and good thoughts, and your life will show how strong and clear your thoughts are. Number 10. Knowing how to handle money wisely is one of the most important skills you can learn in this day and age. We live in a world where money affects not only the choices we make every day, but also our health and happiness in the long run. To take charge of your life and avoid the constant stress that many people feel because they don't know how to handle their money, you need to know how it works, how to manage it, and how to make it grow. We learned from the Stoics how important it is to be in charge of our lives, and one of the most useful ways to do this is to handle our money well. People often have problems because they don't understand simple ideas like planning, saving, and in investing. A lot of people live from day to day and spend all the money they make without a clear plan. Then when something goes wrong, they find they don't have the money to handle it. This makes them feel stressed and anxious all the time, which hurts not only their earnings but also their mental and emotional health. You know what? Most of us didn't learn these skills in school, so we have to find them on our own. But not knowing something is not a crime, it's a chance to learn and improve. To learn about money, the first thing you need to do is understand how important planning is. Making a budget helps you see how much money you make, how much you spend, and how much you save. Like a plan, it helps you figure out where your money's going and put it where it needs to go. Being careless with your money is simple. When you don't have a budget, you might spend money on things that don't improve your life. Organizing your money, on the other hand, can free up money that you can use to save, spend, and reach your long-term goals. Not only should you keep what's left over when you save, but you should also do it on purpose. Setting up an emergency fund with enough money to cover at least 3 months of costs is a good idea. This gives you peace of mind and the security to handle unknown events without going into debt. As the Stoics said, be ready for the unexpected. Having savings is a new way to follow that advice. Also, saving money doesn't mean giving up everything. It means putting what's important first and putting off now pleasure in order to get bigger benefits later. Investing is another important part of learning about money. It's good to save money, but if you only do that, you miss out on the chance to see it grow. When you invest, your money can make you money. You can do this in the stock market, real estate, or even your own business. But if you want to spend wisely, you need to learn more about it. You shouldn't jump at the first opportunity that promises you money quickly. Instead, you should learn about the risks and rewards and how to put together a strategy that fits your needs. The Stoic ideals of discipline and control are very important for managing your investments carefully. You need to be patient and persistent to get through this process. A central idea in both Stoicism and financial knowledge is the idea of deferred satisfaction. We are constantly being told to buy things and spend money, so being able to wait and focus on what's important is a very useful skill. You are showing self-control every time you decide to save money instead of spending it on something that you don't need. You are building a stronger future every time you choose to invest instead of spending money on a whim. This self-control not only makes your money better, but it also makes you a better person and gives you a sense of power and accomplishment. Teaching people about money has a huge effect. Managing your money well will free you from the stress that comes from not knowing what will happen with the economy. You can then focus on your goals, your personal growth, and living a more healthy life. By learning how to handle your money, you can also help other people, either by showing your family and friends or by giving to good causes. The Stoics told us that our job is not only to make our own lives better, but also to help other people. Being financially stable gives you the tools to do this. Learning about money isn't just useful. It's also a way to take back control of your life and live with purpose. You can start learning and using these ideas at any time. No matter where you are, every step you take to better handle your money will bring you closer to a life of freedom, security, and meaning over time. Number 11. Don't spend money based on your emotions. One of the main reasons people have money problems today is spending money based on their emotions. This kind of buying happens when we decide to do something without thinking, because we are feeling stressed, sad, or even happy at the time. It makes us buy things we don't need just to feel better right away. But this kind of spending only makes things worse and causes more stress about money. The Stoics knew how important it was to be self-disciplined and think things through before moving, especially when making decisions about money. They knew that our wants shouldn't run our lives or our money. When you spend money without thinking, your feelings take over. This makes you make choices that aren't in line with your goals or values. For instance, after a hard day at work, you might want to buy something that will make you feel better, like new clothes or a fancy dinner. This buy may make you feel good in the short term, but it will only add to your debt and financial stress in the long run. Additionally, the comfort you experience is short-lived, and the pleasure quickly fades, leaving you with the results of an impulsive choice. The Stoic way of life teaches us to be sensible and calm. Instead of giving in to our short-term urges, we should think about what we want to buy and see if it fits with our long-term goals and needs. Here's something to think about before you buy something. Do I really need it, or am I just wanting it because I feel like it at the moment? This easy exercise will help you tell the difference between things that are really important and things that are just an attempt to make you feel better. The important thing is to understand what makes us spend money without thought. The Stoics thought it was important to know yourself and your feelings without having them control you. When we learn to recognize when we are acting on impulse, we can take a step back and think about whether we are really in need or just acting on an emotional whim. Being self-led becomes a habit over time that not only helps our finances, but also makes us smarter when making choices in other areas of our lives. When it comes to money, instant satisfaction is a quiet enemy. People in our society are constantly buying things and putting them off to pay later without thinking about what will happen in the long run. The Stoics, on the other hand, told us to put off pleasure and make decisions that will help us in the long run, even if they mean making sacrifices in the short term. Long-term goals that are met bring true happiness, not quick fixes like buying things on the spur of the moment. We can live a more balanced and useful life by putting things like saving, spending, and making the future better at the top of our list of priorities. It helps to have clear long-term goals. When you want to live by this theory, whether you want to buy a house, build a backup fund, or become financially free, having a clear picture of what you want to achieve makes it easier to make spending choices that will help you reach those goals. Once you see your goals in front of you, every urge becomes something that gets in the way of your progress. You don't have to give in to pressure. Instead, you can choose to focus your resources on what really matters. Making a budget and keeping track of your spending is another important part. In addition to keeping you on track with your money, this makes you feel in charge. When you know exactly what you are spending your money on, you can spot trends of spending based on feelings and start to change them. The Stoics knew that having power over our money is an important part of living a good life. If you have a clear budget, you can make smart choices. Stay on track with your goals and avoid wasting money without thinking. When you want to buy something without thinking, remember that you are more in control. When you take a break, think about your goals and make choices that move you closer to living the life you really want. Number 12, surround yourself with good energy. The people you spend time with have a big effect on your choices, your mindset, and in the end, your life. They knew this better than anyone else, the Stoics. They knew that our life is shaped not only by our own actions and thoughts, but also by outside factors, especially the people we spend time with. If you hang out with positive, motivating people who support your goals, you will be in a place that helps you move forward. However, if you spend a lot of time with people who are always negative, critical, or demotivating, you will absorb their energies and beliefs, which will make it harder for you to continue moving forward. Stoicism teaches us that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can change how we react to them. Choice of who to be around is one of the most important things we can do in life. If you put seeds of doubt and negativity in your thoughts, they will grow into weeds that will take over everything. If you plant seeds of hope, support, and growth, on the other hand, you will get fruits that will feed and strengthen you like the seeds in that field. The people you spend time with can help you grow in a useful way if you pick the right ones. Spending time with people who motivate and excite you and who will help you reach your goals not only gives you more energy, but it also helps you see things more clearly and concentrate. These people show you the best parts of yourself. You become a better person because they help you and set a good standard. The Stoics knew how important it was to find wise people to surround yourself with. So Marcus Aurelius and Seneca talked a lot about how company can change a person. People who spend time with wise people can help you make choices that are more in line with ethics and reason. However, not every friendship is good. Certain people can have a bad effect on your energy, even if they don't mean to. If you spend a lot of time with people who complain, judge, or focus on the bad, that way of thinking will probably seep into your own. Because negativity spreads quickly, it's easy to start seeing things negatively if you are constantly around it. You should be aware of this kind of impact and be brave enough to leave people who don't help you reach your goals or improve your well-being. While this doesn't mean you should end all relationships that are hard, it is important to learn how to handle them and set limits. The Stoics didn't encourage being alone. Instead, they believed that people should be smart enough to know which relationships are worth keeping and which ones are better left behind. Limiting the time you spend with people who don't help you grow as a person is sometimes the best way to keep your peace of mind and your focus. It's not about being selfish. It's about being careful with your time and energy. It's easy to keep making progress when you spend time with people who support you and share your morals and goals. When things get tough or uncertain, these ties help hold you down. These people aren't perfect, but they work well together to foster an environment where feedback is helpful. Support is real, and problems are faced with a positive mindset. This is what the Stoics meant by a virtuous community, a group of people who seek knowledge and the common good by setting a good example and helping each other. Start by taking a look at your present relationships to see how this concept can be used in your life. Be honest with yourself and think about whether the people around you are uplifting you or bringing you down by pushing you to fit in and be negative. You should be aware of the people you associate with and decide how to deal with them if they are not supporting your goals or are always putting you down. This doesn't always mean ending the relationship, but it can mean being clear about your limits or spending less time with them. Question 13. How can silence be a powerful tool in Stoic thought? Silence is a powerful tool that can help us build stronger minds and characters. It's often linked to being weak or passive, but Stoic see it as a way to keep your emotions in check and think deeply. Silence practice is more than just not talking. It's a choice to stop, notice, and think about what's going on inside and around us. People react quickly and with words or actions that don't always show who they really are when they are upset or stressed. This response can hurt relationships and keep arguments going. We can avoid these mistakes when there is silence, because silence lets us take a step back and think before moving. It keeps us from getting caught up in our feelings like this. It turns into a tool that helps us avoid saying things we'll later regret. The Stoics knew that harsh words spoken out of anger or rage are often what makes things worse. But silence can also be a safe place where we can better deal with our feelings. We don't have to get swept away by strong emotions and thoughts. Instead, we can see them more clearly. It lets us be aware of how we're feeling, whether it's anger, sadness, joy, or fear, without letting those feelings take over. Stoicism is all about staying calm inside. No matter what is going on around you, this state can be reached through silence, which separates us from the mental storm so that we can quietly think and find balance. Introspection is another skill we can develop through silence. It gives us a chance to think about our actions, thoughts, and goals. The Stoics thought that knowing yourself was the most important thing for growing as a person. We can listen to our own thoughts, think about our good and bad qualities, and consciously choose how to get better. When we keep quiet, we can connect with our soul and see past outside distractions when we are in this place of silence. Not only does silence encourage, it also helps us understand other people better. When we listen carefully in silence, we can pick up on things that we might miss. Otherwise, we can get to know the people around us better. This way, in a world where noise is all the time, silence can help people bond and understand each other. By keeping quiet, we let other people's feelings and thoughts affect us, which makes our interactions with them better in the long run. Being quiet also makes us stronger. When things are going badly, words may not help or even be harmful. There are times when the best thing we can do is to keep quiet and avoid the urge to respond to what's going on around us. The purpose of this silence is not to punish us, but to help us choose not to let bad feelings take over. The Stoics knew that problems would always be there, but what makes us unique is how we can deal with them in a calm and thoughtful way. Silence is also powerful because it can help you find peace within yourself. We live in a world where too much knowledge and non-stop stimulation can make our minds feel unstable. By setting aside times to be quiet, we can make peaceful spots in the middle of chaos. This quiet not only helps us figure out what's going on, but it also gets us back in touch with our real selves and away from the things that keep us from being at peace with ourselves. Ultimately, practicing silence on purpose is one of the most important ways to learn how to control our emotions, think deeply, and find inner peace. This is not an empty area. It's a place full of possibilities. Instinctive responses happen right away, but this helps us step back and focus on what's important. When we accept silence, it makes us more thoughtful, balanced, and strong, so we can handle any problem with calm and clarity of thought. Number 14, be steady and patient. Patience and steadiness are two important traits in Stoicism because they teach us that it's not about getting everything right away, but about moving steadily toward our goals without giving up or pushing. We often give in to the urge to want quick results. Whether we are trying to control our feelings, handle our money, or improve the way we talk to each other. The Stoics, on the other hand, tell us that getting good at these things takes time, practice, and constant focus. Being in charge of our mouth, mind, mood, and money doesn't happen quickly. It'll happen slowly, so we need to be patient and give it time. We often try to change habits that we've had for years right away, and it can be frustrating when we don't see results right away. In contrast, the Stoics tell us to understand that real change takes time. Like how a river's steady flow wears away the hardest rocks. Stoicism teaches us that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can change how we respond to them. We can't get this control right away. We have to work on it every day by being able to notice and understand our feelings without letting them take over. We are getting better at controlling our minds every time we can stop reacting automatically to bad things that happen. Self-control and thought are always being worked on. Patience is very important on this road because we can't expect to be able to stay calm in any scenario. All of a sudden it takes time, but every little win over our feelings is a step toward a mind that is calmer and more grounded. It takes effort to also control our words or the way we talk. It is important to be careful about what you say, as the Stoics knew that words can be strong in both good and bad ways. It's not enough to want to keep our words in check. When things get tense, we have to make it a habit. Consistency in the words we use and our ability to talk wisely and without rashness is a skill that gets better with daily use. Every time we decide not to say something hurtful or pointless, we make ourselves stronger. And while it might be hard at first, controlling what we say becomes natural after a while. We also need to learn how to be patient with our moods. Each day will be different. There will be days when we are more calm and days when our feelings get the best of us. The important thing is to be consistent. Being more aware of our feelings and not letting them get the best of us is something we can work on every day. When we start to use Stoicism in our lives, we can't expect our feelings to change right away. We need time to figure out why we act the way we do, and then learn how to change that behavior. We need to be patient with this process because real change only happens when we work on it every day without rushing or expecting results right away. You have to be disciplined with money, just like with anything else in your life. Being able to control our earnings shows that we can control our wants and feelings. Stoicism teaches us not to let short-term joys rule us, but to know that moderation and self-control are what bring real happiness. Making hasty choices won't get you to financial freedom. Instead, it's the small choices we make every day that move us closer to our goals. We show that we are in charge of our choices every time we decide to save money instead of spending it. Getting good at managing your money is a skill that you can develop over time by being persistent and patient. No matter what we want to control in our lives, our thoughts, words, feelings, or money, we need to be steady and patient to get there. It's not about making huge jumps. It's about taking small steps forward, being focused, and not giving up when results don't show up right away. What means most in the end is steady growth, the kind that is made every day with little work. We will be glad we took this road if we wait for it to pay off. Number 15. Show thanks. The Stoics knew that showing gratitude was one of the most important things we can do in our daily lives. Not only does practicing gratitude make us see things more positively, but it can also turn our negative thoughts into positive ones, which is very good for our health. When things are hard and it seems like everyone is against us, being thankful helps us remember all the good things we still have and put our attention back on what's important. A lot of the time we think about what we don't have, what we haven't done, or the problems we have. This mindset of lack can keep us unhappy all the time without us understanding the good things we already have. Stoic philosophers like Seneca and Epictetus taught us that what makes life valuable is not what happens to us, but how we feel about it. Being thankful can help us shift our focus from things that are scarce to things that are plentiful. We don't have to be sad about what we don't have. Instead, we can be grateful for the little things that make our lives better. Even when things are hard, finding and being thankful for what we have can be a powerful way to change things. Practicing thanks can help us enjoy the little things in life, like a sunny day, a loved one's smile, the peace we feel when we're alone, or the chance to, though the Stoics did memento mori, thinking about death. They didn't do it to feel sad. Instead, they did it to remember how valuable time is and how important it is to enjoy what we have now. Being grateful is even more important when we know that life is short. It tells us to enjoy every moment and be thankful for what we have and what we still have the chance to do. Writing in a gratitude book every day is one of the best ways to make sense of thankfulness in our everyday lives. This diary project doesn't need to be long or hard every night. All you have to do is write down 3 things you are thankful for. Things of any size can be there. It's important to think about the good things that happened today. Not only does writing down these 3 things help us see the good in our lives, but it also trains our thoughts to see the good instead of the bad. The workout is easy but very effective. Knowing that despite the difficulties we may have encountered, we have many reasons to be happy, helps us to refocus our attention on what really matters and allows us to sleep with a calm mind. We can develop a positive mindset by doing this practice. Our view of life changes when we start to appreciate the good things that happen to us. Every day we stop looking at what we don't have and start seeing what we do have and what is good about us. Not only does this mindset make us happier, but it also makes us stronger. We can deal with problems in a more positive way when we know that there is always something good in the middle of problems. Being thankful keeps you grounded emotionally and reminds you that even when things are bad, there is still reason to smile and keep going. When we show thanks, we should pay attention to how it makes our bodies and minds feel. Studies have shown that being thankful lowers stress, makes sleep better, and makes people happier. In general, focusing on the good things in life makes us less likely to think about the bad things, which helps us be more in the present. Being thankful makes our relationships stronger because it shows others that we appreciate what they do for us, which creates an environment where people help each other. Let's go deeper. Do you feel like your life is getting away from you? Are you sick of missing out on chances and living your life without a clear plan? Now is the time to stop. Think about what really counts and look inside. Stoicism tells us to be responsible for our actions. Stop living our lives based on what other people want us to do and concentrate on growing as individuals. Stop wasting time on things that don't matter and start making your life real, full of growth and meaning. You will learn how the Stoic way of thinking can change your life and put you back in charge of your future. In this video, before we start, I want you to declare that you are ready to change. Put this in the comments. Today is the start of my new version with Stoicism. By making this public promise, you are committing to your change and a way to a better, more disciplined life. Allow us to begin. First, focus on yourself to cut down on distractions. This is the key to getting your life under control and cutting down on outside distractions. Stoicism says that your world is made up of the things you pay attention to. You become a slave to your situations and other people's opinions. If you let your mind wander all the time to things you can't change, when you choose to focus on growing as a person, though, you can get your awareness and self-control back. Focusing on this helps you get rid of the things that aren't important and ties you with what is your purpose, your ideals, and the way to a good life. Setting aside time for self-care is the first thing that needs to be done with all the noise. In normal life, it's important to take time to think and care for your mind. You can start with easy things like writing in a notebook, meditating, or reading books that motivate you to get better. This was very clear to Stoics. Like Marcus Aurelius, every morning he took time to write in his diary, thinking about his values and getting ready to face the day's difficulties with calm and wisdom. This habit not only makes you smarter, but it also helps you remember what's important. Finding exact ways you can improve is another part of working on your personal growth. Being honest and humble enough to admit your mistakes and a strong desire to move on are both needed. For this, you might need to be more disciplined, work on your relationships, or learn how to handle your feelings better. The most important thing is to be constant, no matter what area you choose. Remember that big changes don't happen quickly. Instead, focus on taking small steps every day that get you closer to your goals. Every little step forward, no matter how small it seems, is a victory over the things that were keeping you from your goal before. When you focus on yourself, something amazing starts to happen. You stop letting other people affect your thoughts. You no longer care about criticism, judgment, or what other people expect of you because you are now focused on what you can control. You don't have to shut yourself off or stop caring. You just have to learn to pick out the things that really matter. Now that you don't need other people to approve of your choices, they are based on what you believe is right. Being able to think clearly makes it easier to answer problems and act wisely in any scenario. It's also amazing how resilient you become when you put your personal growth. First, you change into someone who can stay calm and determined when things go wrong. People now see problems that seemed impossible to solve in the past as chances to learn and grow. This shift in viewpoint is a key part of Stoicism. It won't always be easy, but you get to choose how to deal with problems. Focusing on getting better helps you build a strong base that you can stand on, even when things get crazy around you. Lastly, this process changes not only how you relate to yourself, but also how you relate to other people. You become a better friend, partner, and leader when you put your own growth first. You have an inner strength that doesn't depend on outside factors, which makes the people around you want to do the same. Living by your ideals without any distractions and being a lighthouse for people looking for truth in a world full of chaos is what it means to live a Stoic life. Self-care is not selfish. It's the only way to make the world a better place. You can only make a real and useful contribution if you are in charge of your mind and your life. Cutting down on distractions and focusing on what matters most will help you build a life that is based on reason. One that is not only stronger, but also more fulfilling and rewarding. Second, focusing on yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. We live in a world full of distractions like social networks and other people's views that are always trying to get our attention. Focusing on yourself is not only important, it's necessary right now. It's normal for people to compare themselves to others and judge their worth based on norms set by others. Stoicism, on the other hand, says that this way of life only pulls us away from our core and purpose. We need to look inside ourselves to get direction and a sense of purpose in our lives. That's where we can find the tools to deal with any problem and find real peace. The trouble is looking for approval from other people. We lose control of our lives when what other people think of us shapes who we are and how we feel about ourselves. We become slaves to standards and demands that we can never fully meet. We are also less successful when we compare ourselves to others. There will always be someone who seems smarter, happier, or more successful than you, but this isn't really the case. We waste time and energy when we compare ourselves to others instead of using those resources to make ourselves better. This never-ending search for approval wears us down and blocks our progress. Stoicism encourages us to look inward rather than outward for the answer. Epictetus said we shouldn't worry about things we can't change. He said our only job is to improve our thoughts, deeds, and character, which we can change. An important part of this process is realizing that everyone has their own skills and goals. It's not helpful to compare yourself to other people because they don't have the same problems, skills, or situations as you do. Focusing on your personal growth means knowing what your skills are and working on your weaknesses, knowing that you are creating something real and important. When you focus on yourself, something amazing happens. You reach your full ability. You are now using all the time and energy you used to waste on outside activities to help you grow. You start to use skills you didn't know you had to move forward on your path. This change doesn't happen right away, but over time it becomes clear. You can find real happiness, a sense of fulfillment that doesn't rely on material things or other people's praise when you put your own growth first. The Stoics said that you can only be truly happy if you live your life in line with your values and do things that are in line with them. This way of doing things makes your connection with the world better, as well as your relationship with yourself. When you become more aware and balanced, you have a good effect on other people. People are inspired by what you do, not what you say. Your relationships show that you are at peace with yourself, and your accomplishments show that you are truly dedicated to yourself. Stopping to compare yourself to others also frees you from the constant need to beat other people. You start to celebrate other people's progress instead, which doesn't make you feel less important. People who focus on themselves, not because they are selfish, but because they know themselves, bring order to a world full of chaos. It's not selfish to think about yourself. It's necessary for having a full life. When you stop looking for approval from other people and focus on your own growth, you become the real creator of your life. You can always find calm and direction inside of yourself, no matter how noisy the outside world is. That's the power of Stoicism. living by rules instead of views. Putting your growth first will not only make you happy, but it will also help the world in a real and important way. Third, don't compare your life to other people's. Social networks have changed how we see other people's lives. Through a screen, we can only see the best parts, the biggest smiles, the best accomplishments, and the happiest holidays. This filtered and edited form of truth, on the other hand, is just a carefully made illusion. We all have problems, fail, and have questions, but they are not shown. Once we start comparing our real life to this perfect version of things, we start to feel like we are falling behind and not good enough. Stoicism tells us that this comparison is not only wrong, but it's also pointless because it takes our attention away from what's important, our own growth. When we compare our lives to other people's beautiful times, we feel insecure and like we are never good enough. Because of this habit, it will always look like other people are further along, better or more successful than us. But this view is built on a false premise. We only see what people want to show. We don't know their inner battles or sacrifices. When we keep thinking about these similarities, we not only disconnect from who we really are, but also from our own goals and ideals. We give our power to outside standards, which leaves us open to doubt and dissatisfaction. Changing how we see things is the first step to finding an answer. Stoicism tells us to see that everyone has problems that they don't show. Even if their life seems great on the outside, everyone has to deal with problems. They're just a normal part of being human. When we accept this, we stop trying to make other people perfect and start seeing them as equals with the same strengths and flaws as us. Also, it's important to set our own standards based on what we really value. We shouldn't base our success on what other people think. Instead, we should make our own plans and work towards them. This gives us focus and direction, taking our attention away from outside distractions. We feel a deep sense of freedom when we stop comparing ourselves to other people. We get back in charge of our lives. By letting go of the weight of social standards, we can now focus on our own success. No matter how big or small it is, thanks to this change, because it's in line with our goals and not someone else's, each step forward makes us happy. Getting rid of social pressure also makes us stronger against abuse and judgment from other people. We count less on other people's approval because we know that what matters most is how we see our own growth and goodness. When we compare things, we lose peace because we lose touch with the moment. They keep us from enjoying who we are and what we are making by showing us what other people have or do. As we work on our goals and personal growth, we start to live a more real and fulfilling life. Stoicism tells us that we can't change what other people do or how they do it, but we can change how we respond to it. We don't have to feel envious or inadequate. Instead, we can choose to be inspired or just ignore what doesn't help us get better. Our relationship with ourselves and the world around us changes. When we shift our attention, we stop fighting with others and start working together. When we focus on our own growth, we know we are not in a race and are each on our own road. With this knowledge, we can enjoy other people's successes without making our own seem less important. There is less weight on our shoulders when we live this way, and we can move forward with more confidence and ease. We can't really tell if we are successful by looking at how other people do. Instead, we can only know if we are successful by being true to ourselves and working toward our own goals. 4. Let go of things that don't serve you anymore. There are relationships, habits, and goals that used to serve a clear purpose, but no longer do. At the time, they might have been important because they helped us grow, deal with problems, or find our way, but there comes a time when they don't fit the person we are becoming anymore. The Stoics teach us that holding on to things that don't help us is not only pointless, but it also gets in the way of our growth. Attaching ourselves to things we should let go of makes us carry extra weight that stops us from going forward. The trouble starts when we don't want to let go, whether it's because we are afraid, miss the old things, or think that losing something means we failed. Many of us hold on to relationships, habits, and goals that are no longer good for us or that don't fit with our ideals. This connection keeps us stuck in a loop where we keep putting time and effort into something that doesn't help us anymore. Because of this, we miss out on new chances and events that could change our lives. One of the biggest problems is the fear of change, but the Stoics say we shouldn't be afraid of things we can't change. Instead, we should think about how we will react to them. Practicing mindful separation is the answer. That doesn't mean we should give up everything right away. It just means we should be honest about what things, people, or habits are still important to us. Epictetus said that we should learn to let go, but not with anger. Instead, he said that we should be thankful for what those events taught us. We make room for the new by getting rid of what isn't useful anymore. It's like cleaning a garden. Getting rid of what has died lets the new seeds grow healthy. It's important to trust the process. Sometimes it's hard to let go, but we need to in order to grow. There will be some doubt when things change, but there will also be a lot of new possibilities. We go through a huge change when we finally let go of what doesn't serve us anymore. We are lighter, have more energy, and can see clearly enough to focus on what's important. Being able to let go opens up new opportunities for learning, connections, and situations that are in line with who we are now. Detachment not only frees us from things that aren't important, but it also makes us more flexible and strong for life. We learn to accept that things will always change, and that being open to it helps us grow in ways that didn't seem possible before. Stoicism tells us that life is always changing and moving forward. Nothing lasts forever, and fighting this truth only makes us hurt. When we agree that some things need to be left behind, we accept that life will go on as it will. This isn't a loss, it's a gain. We get freedom, clarity, and the chance to find ourselves again. Detachment helps us not only move on to new things, but it also teaches us to value the moment more without getting stuck in the past or thinking too much about the future. It takes guts and knowledge to let go of things that don't serve us anymore. We have to be sure that by letting go, we don't become empty, but instead get ready to receive what we really need. Being detached doesn't mean you don't care. It means you understand that life goes in circles and that every end is also a beginning. A mindset like this helps us not only move forward more lightly, but it also lets us live a more true life that fits with who we are. People shouldn't be afraid of change. Instead, they should welcome it as a chance to start over and grow. Fifth, getting there isn't the end of the trip. Many people look forward to meeting their goals because it means they've worked hard and been dedicated. There is a quiet risk, though, when you feel like you've reached your goal and are proud of yourself. Stoicism tells us that life isn't about getting somewhere, but about keeping going, getting better, and taking on new tasks. If you let an accomplishment become your end point, you start to stay the same. What was once a time of success can turn into the start of a decline if you stop looking for ways to get better. The issue with having arrived is how that mindset restricts your potential. You get used to things and let habit and laziness take the place of the hard work and discipline that got you there. What's worse, being lazy leaves you open to change, since the world won't stop. Even if you do, the Stoics remind us that life is a flow, and if you are not going forward, you'll end up going backwards. When you think there is nothing else you can do, you might not be able to make good decisions. You might also lose motivation, and you might end up being unhappy with what you have already accomplished. The answer is to keep going and look for new tasks all the time. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote about how there is no end to human growth. These goals don't have to be big. Little tasks every day can help you stay on track and keep growing. Looking for new tasks not only keeps you from getting stuck, but it also gives your life a boost. You understand that it's not the goal that matters, but how you grow as you work toward it. This never-ending circle of growth not only keeps you going, but it also gets you ready for the bad things that will happen in life. You can grow as a person, learn more about yourself, and push yourself past your limits with each new task. In this way, real success stops being a fixed point and starts being a state of steady growth. Stoicism tells us that being able to stick with something and change over time is what makes you successful, not a moment of glory. When you accept that getting there is not the end of the trip, you let go of the thought that success can only be reached once. Every accomplishment you reach is a part of a bigger journey that will never end because there is always more to discover. With this way of thinking, you can enjoy each stage of your life, not as an end, but as a beginning of something new. Real success isn't about getting to a certain point. It's about always getting better. This never-ending process is where you find meaning and happiness. There were people called Stoics who thought that life was a chance to become better people. Success, every challenge met and every lesson learned, brings you closer to a full and worthwhile life, no matter how many times you reach a goal. Everything you do, no matter how small, has a bigger meaning when you live with a mission. People who don't have that purpose, on the other hand, are more likely to be distracted by outside noise. Other people's demands or their constant need to be accepted according to Stoicism. Living without a clear goal is like riding a boat without a rudder. You let the wind carry you where you want to go instead of leading your life towards that goal. Distractions are easy to get caught up in. When you don't have a goal, you think about what other people are doing more, compare what they've done to what you've done, and question whether you are doing enough. It's easy to feel lost when you can't see north. It's like your efforts don't matter or make a difference. Also, when you depend on outside approval for meaning, you depend on something you can't change, which makes you feel frustrated and anxious. You act based on what other people expect of you instead of living from your core, which pulls you even further away from your true potential. The first step to finding an answer is to really think about yourself. Look at your skills, interests, and what moves you. The Stoics said that everyone has a special place in the world and something they can bring to it. It's not about looking for a perfect or grand reason. It's about making sure your behaviors are in line with what you value. Question yourself, what makes me happy? What can I do to help other people? The answers to these questions will help you find a mission that helps you and makes the world a better place. When you get that perspective, your days stop being a bunch of separate tasks and start being steps towards something bigger. Being purpose-driven doesn't mean that life will always be easy or that you'll understand everything. Some days you will question, sometimes you won't know what to do, and some challenges you didn't expect. But if you have a clear goal, those problems become part of the trip and not impossible to get past. Every task you face is a chance to show how committed you are to yourself and what you are building. Also, outside distractions don't work as well when your reason is in line with your ideals. You don't care what other people do or think because you know you are working on what is important to you. Living with purpose makes your life have a lot of value. You don't need other people to agree with you because just going forward on your road makes you happy. Your accomplishments aren't judged by what other people think of them, but by how they change your life and the lives of those around you. You also find a steady source of inspiration that doesn't depend on what's going on around you. This way of doing things not only makes you stronger, but it also makes you more real. You focus on what really matters. Instead of chasing after unimportant goals, this helps you build a life that is true to your core values. Having a purpose in life is what keeps it stable. When things get crazy, It gives you the strength to handle the good and bad times with calm and drive. Stoicism tells us that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can choose how to react to them. You have to choose to live with purpose every day. It takes guts to do so, but it helps you stay focused on the important things no matter what problems or distractions you face. In the end, it's not about getting somewhere. It's about living each day with purpose and knowing that you are doing your part in the world. Number 7, treat time like a limited resource. Time is the most important thing we have, but we lose it the most. Every second that goes by can't be got back. You can get back a lost coin, but you can't get back wasted time. Stoicism says that we should value time as a valuable resource that needs our full attention and respect. We often give up on it, though, because of distractions, putting things off, or responsibilities that don't really help us. Life doesn't last forever, and every moment we waste without a plan is a gift we missed. One of the worst things we can do is waste time, and most of the time we don't even realize it. Minor things distract us, other people's needs, control our goals, or we do what seems easy instead of what really matters because we don't want to. Stoicism teaches us to manage our time well and pay attention to what's important. It's not that we don't have enough time. Seneca made it clear. We waste a lot of it. When we let things run our lives, we lose sight of our goals and miss the chance to live in line with our values. To really value your time, you need to learn how to set priorities. It's not always important to do things right away, and we shouldn't waste our time on things that seem important. Tasks that will have a big effect on our long-term goals should be done before tasks that will make us feel good right now. It takes self-control to do this because it's easy to focus on what seems easier or more appealing at the moment. But if you aren't clear on what's most important to you, time slips away doing silly things, and when the day is over, you realize you haven't done anything useful. Another important way to value time is to be aware of the here and now. People live in the present, but their minds are often stuck in the past or the future. When we live this way, we miss out on how wonderful every moment is. Mindfulness meant that the Stoics paid attention to what they were doing and didn't worry about things they couldn't change. We should live each day as if it were our last, as Marcus Aurelius said in his book Meditations, because one day it will be. This way of thinking helps us focus on what's important and find more joy in the little things we do every day. To value time, you also need to learn how to say no. We should say no to responsibilities that don't fit with our goals, relationships that don't make us better, and habits that don't help our health. Being kind to ourselves and respecting the time we have is important. When we say no, realizing that every minute is valuable and that we can't waste it on things that don't make sense. That way we can not only protect our time, but also improve our ability to concentrate on what's important. We should not be worried about how little time we have. Instead, this should make us more determined. Every day brings a chance to move toward our goals, grow as people, and make a difference in the world. To change our relationship with time and learn how to use it wisely and successfully. We need to live with this mindset. This doesn't mean that we should be busy all the time. It means that we should be deliberate about what we do and make sure that it fits with our values and goals. Stoicism tells us that life is short, but we can make it more meaningful by living it with a goal. When we realize that time is valuable, we stop wasting it on unimportant things and start putting it toward the important ones. It doesn't matter how long we live. In the end, what matters is how we spend each moment. To make the most of your time and live a full, worthwhile life, you need to focus on what's important, be present, and act with purpose. 8th, make habits that will help you reach your goals. Habits are the building blocks of all real changes in life. Stoicism says that our character isn't made by big events that happen one time, but by small acts that we do every day, whether they are good or bad. The habits you form are like bricks that make up your life. Today is a step toward the life you want to build if your habits are in line with your goals. But if they aren't, you are going away from your goals, even if you don't know it. The important thing is to be aware of how your habits can affect your future and to take responsibility for making them happen. Before you can make good habits, you need to set clear goals and know where you want to go. This helps you figure out the exact things you need to do to make your process better. If you don't have a clear goal, it's easy to get lost in daily life and do things that don't help you move forward. After you know what you want to achieve, you can figure out what habits you need to get there. If your goal is to improve your health, for example, a healthy diet, regular exercise, and enough rest might be important habits. If you want to move up in your career, you might need to learn or practice new skills every day. Take small steps as the next step. The Stoics like the idea of making progress slowly. Seneca said that big things don't happen all at once, but over time with small, steady attempts. Trying to change too many things at once can be hard and end up failing. Instead, focus on doing just 1 or 2 easy things over and over again. Start by reading 5 pages every day. Do it for 2 minutes at first if you want to. You can do these steps and they will give you the confidence you need to move on to the next ones. Keep track of things is a great way to form good habits. By keeping track of your progress, you can see how far you've come and stay encouraged. You can keep track of every day you do your habit with an app, a calendar, or even a simple paper. This record not only helps you understand what you are doing, but it also makes you feel good about your progress, even on the worst days. It also helps to keep your pledge by enjoying every little win, no matter how small it may seem. It helps to keep going when you realize that you took another step, no matter how small it was. Creating habits that are in line with your goals is helpful because they lead to deep and long-lasting change. Not only do consistent habits help you reach your goals, they also change who you are. You support the idea that you're someone who wants to grow. Every time you do a good habit, you become more grounded. If you practice every day, you think of yourself as someone who takes care of their health. If you work out regularly, changing from the inside out is what really makes change last. It's not just about meeting your goals, it's about becoming the person who makes them possible. Stoicism tells us to pay attention to the things we can change, and our habits are totally within our control. Even though we can't know what will happen or change the future, we can choose how to act every day by making habits that are in line with our goals. We make sure that our actions are driven by our values and goals and not by luck or ease. This method not only helps us reach our goal, but it also gives us a stronger sense of purpose and happiness. Making habits is like putting money into your future. It takes discipline at first, but ends up giving you freedom when you always do the right thing. You don't have to make choices as often because what you do becomes second nature. It takes time for this process to finish, but if you are patient and keep at it, you will get there. Things that make you who you are and what you achieve will depend on the habits you choose to form. The question is whether your habits help you or hurt you. You have the answer, and now is the time to start. Number 9, make your own luck. In 5 years, you'll be somewhere very different from where you are now. The question is whether that fate is the result of choices made on purpose or of laziness and lack of attention. Stoicism holds that we create our own future through the choices we make every day. Your life will go in a certain direction no matter what decisions you make. Things like situations, other people's demands, or your own unchecked urges will decide your fate if you don't plan it yourself. Plus, if you let life happen, you likely end up somewhere you didn't want to be. Think about the path you are on now and guess what will happen. What are your habits, choices, and goals really getting you where you want to go? Why do you do the things you do now? Where will you be in 5 years? People often don't know they're going in a way they don't want to go because they haven't stopped to look at their path. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius said that we should always be thinking about ourselves to make sure that we are living in line with our values and not just responding to what's going on around us. One of the biggest threats to a worthwhile fate, on the other hand, is carelessness. You are letting your life slowly fall apart when you avoid taking care of your duties. Put off doing what's important or choose ease over effort. Your self-esteem is also going down because of this decline. It affects things like your successes and relationships. Knowing that you are not doing your best hurts your heart and makes you lose drive and interest in things. According to Stoicism, the only way to get out of this loop is to be disciplined, even when you don't want to or the path seems hard. Taking focused action is the opposite of being careless and the first step toward creating an aware future. This means you are in charge of your own life and know that you can't change everything right away, but you can begin to change things. Today, you don't need big steps. You just need to keep going. The most important changes happen when small actions are taken every day and added up over time. There are no good reasons not to start according to Stoicism. The future will come whether you want it to or not, and the choices you make today will decide whether you will look back with pride or sorrow. If you keep telling yourself things like you don't have time, you are not ready, or it's too late, you will give up your power to fear and laziness. You become the creator of your own fate when you take charge. When you decide where you want to go and start working toward it, you don't have to go through this process, but when you do, you understand that you have the power to change your life. Designing your fate doesn't mean you'll be able to control everything that happens in your life. There will always be things outside of your control that you can't see coming or avoid. We learn from Stoicism, though, that how we react is more important than what happens when you work on yourself and form habits and take actions that are in line with your goals. You build the strength to handle any task that comes your way. You are building a strong base that will let you keep going no matter what's happening. What you do today will shape who you are in 5 years. Are you ready to take charge of your life and make it fit your values, dreams, and abilities? Or will you let laziness and inertia lead you somewhere you didn't want to find yourself? You have the power to decide, and now is the time to move. At the end of the day, there is nothing better than knowing that the road you took was built with plan and purpose. Number 10. Why having a growth mindset is important. A growth mindset is what makes progress possible in every part of life. What really counts according to Stoicism is how you react to what happens to you when you have a growth mindset. You don't see wins and failures as endings, but as chances to learn and move on. It's possible to turn even the hardest experiences into opportunities to grow as a person. When you look at them this way, you don't try to avoid problems. Instead, you face them because you know they will help you grow. Life will always have challenges, whether they are big wins or painful losses, but how you use them is what makes your path unique. It's easy to get lazy and think you don't need to work as hard after you've had a lot of success. Stoicism, on the other hand, tells us that accomplishments are not the end, but rather steps along a long road. Your success will start to fall apart if you stop growing. That's because nothing stays the same in life. Failure's the same way. It's not the end of the world. It's a chance to look again, learn and change your path. As long as you keep the right mindset, each fall can mark the start of a new sub-life. You can't get stuck in the past if you have a growth mindset. Whether you are enjoying past successes or feeling bad about mistakes you made in the past, staying in the present is important for your growth. Every day is a chance to get better, learn something new, and make progress toward your goals. If you think too much about what you've already done, you miss what you can still do. Marcus Aurelius said that we should live each day as if it were our first, and there were many things that could happen. This way of thinking helps you stay humble when things go well and strong when things go wrong. It is important to know that your salary, responsibilities, and goals will start to slip if your personal growth doesn't rise at the same rate. Being the age and having the mindset that got you here won't help you stay there or move forward. You have to change with the world because it's always changing. This doesn't mean you should try to make quick or impossible progress. It just means you should commit to steady and long-lasting growth. There's always something new to learn. Get better at what you already know and look for ways to push yourself. This method not only helps you keep up your progress, but it also gets you ready to hit new heights. Stoicism tells us to see change as something that happens inside us, not something that happens outside of us. Becoming smarter, more focused, and more moral is what it's all about. Not getting more money, power, or fame. Focusing on your own growth hides the fact that success in the outside world is just a bonus and not the main goal. This gives you security and a reason to live, even when things aren't going as planned. If you have a growth mindset, your success or failure doesn't define you. What defines you is your ability to learn and change at every stage of your life. Having a growth mindset takes self-awareness and practice. It's not easy to keep a good mood when things go wrong or to admit that you can always do better. But when you do that, you break free from the limits you put on yourself and find potential that you thought was impossible. No matter how small the step forward is, it makes you feel better about yourself and encourages you to keep going. It is an ongoing process that changes not only your accomplishments, but also how you see life over time. Having a growth mindset is the key to living a full and exciting life. You can see change as a chance instead of a threat. When you have this, when you look at things this way, you understand that real success isn't about getting to a certain point. It's about becoming someone who is always changing, learning, and going beyond themselves. Number 11, make goals that are clear and attainable. One of the most important things you can do to guide your life is to make goals that are clear and attainable. That's because clear goals help you concentrate and direct your energy to what really counts. According to Stoicism, we shouldn't waste our time or energy on things that don't matter. If you make clear goals, everything you do will have a reason for happening, which will help you move forward. A clear goal is not only a place you want to go, but also a guide that helps you stay on track, even when life throws you problems and distractions. You can move forward with vague goals, but you won't be sure if you are going in the right way. It's like navigating a boat without a plan. This makes people angry, because progress seems slow or non-existent. You can also easily get off track and waste time on things that don't help you reach your goals. If you aren't clear on what you want to do, break your goals down into small steps that you can easily reach. The Stoics knew how important it was to plan what you did and do it little by little. Seneca said that nothing important is accomplished quickly. All growth is the result of hard work that is done over and over again. If your goal is to write a book, for instance, don't think about the whole thing. Instead, think about writing one page every day. Start small. If you want to improve your health, for example, walk for 10 minutes every day or skip one bad meal. Not only are these steps easy to understand, but they also help you gain speed, which is important for staying motivated when you divide your goals into smaller steps. Each one you reach is a win that boosts your confidence and determination. Making small steps forward every day is much more useful than trying to do big things all at once. Every little thing you do makes you more disciplined and closer to your end goal. This way of thinking also helps you stay in the moment, which is important according to Stoicism. Thinking about what we can do today is what the Stoics teach us to do, because that's where our power lies. Don't think about how far away your end goal is. Just take the next step and trust the process. Setting clear goals and breaking them down into steps that you can reach gives your life direction and meaning. Every day you know exactly what to do to move forward. This keeps you from feeling lost or stuck. When your goals are clear, you have no reason to put off doing what you need to do. So this method also keeps you from putting things off. Making growth all the time also gives you an inner drive that keeps you going even on the hardest days. Seeing your daily work bring you closer to your goal is one of the best feelings in the world. Setting clear goals isn't just a way to stay organized. It's also a great way to grow as a person. You are planning your life on purpose when you write down what you want to achieve and make a plan to get there. Making goals that are in line with your values and show who you want to become is more important than how big or small your goals are. You can move forward with confidence now that you understand everything. You know that every step you take has a reason. Stoicism tells us that growth is not judged by how fast something happens, but by how often it happens. Moving slowly is not a problem as long as you go in the right way. If you set clear goals and work on them with care and discipline, you'll have a plan for a future full of growth and happiness. This method not only helps you reach your objectives, but it also turns your everyday life into a trip with meaning. 12. The 4 S's of a meaningful life. A meaningful life is not the result of luck, but of choices you make and hard work you put in every day. Stoicism says that to fully live, we need to build an active relationship with the world and with ourselves. This relationship is based on 4 main principles: learning, trying, keeping, and care. When we consciously follow these ideals, we can handle the ups and downs of life with purpose and peace. Any one of them stands for a real deed that changes how we experience life. To live a worthwhile life, you must first learn. No matter how good or bad an event is, it has lessons that we can use to grow. The Stoics were strong believers in the power of knowledge, and not just school knowledge. They also believed in the power of knowledge that comes from thinking about things and observing them. Seneca said that we should learn from other people's mistakes as well as our own. You can learn a lot from life if you're willing to listen and think about what you are learning. Learning is more than just gathering facts. It means really understanding them and using what we've learned to make better choices and actions. The next step is to try. Knowing something is useless if you don't do something with it. People who get ahead in life are brave enough to move, even when there is a chance they might fail. Stoicism tells us that we shouldn't let our fear of failing stop us from doing anything, according to Marcus Aurelius. We should act based on what we can control, and the outcome is not important. You have to face your fears and take the first step toward your goals in order to try. You also have to understand that failing is a normal part of the learning process. Every try shows that you are brave and ready to move forward, even if you don't know what will happen. Having remaining means that you can stick to your goals even when things get hard. Problems and challenges will always be there, but persistence is what will help you get through them. Inner power is one of the most important ideas. Epictetus said that we should accept things that we can't change and never give up on things that we can. To endure is to keep your mind on your goal. Remember why you started and fight the urge to give up when things are taking too long to happen. It is this unwavering dedication that turns your efforts into long-lasting successes. The last of these concepts is care, which may be the most important. It means giving your goals and relationships your full attention and being honest with yourself. Stoicism tells us that we should think for ourselves, but we should also take care of our relationships with other people and things in the world. To care, you have to pay attention, be present, and act on purpose. This kind of thoughtful care is what gives your work value, whether it's for yourself or for someone else. When you care about something, you don't just do it because you have to or because you think it's important. You do it because you know how valuable it is and want to protect and grow it. These 4 things must be in balance for a life to have value. Learning gives you direction and understanding. Trying gets you moving. Sticking with something keeps you on track, and caring makes sure that what you do has a big effect that lasts. These ideals are not one-time things you do. They are part of an ongoing cycle that helps you grow and connect with others. The Stoics tell us that life isn't just a list of things we've done. It's also the quality of our intentions. When we include these 4 yeses in our daily lives, we give ourselves a sense of meaning that goes beyond the things going on around us. When things go wrong, we get stronger, more dedicated to our goals, and more linked to the people around us. Even though life won't always be easy, if we follow these rules, we can be sure that we are making something important. In the end, what makes a life full is not what we get, but what we learn. Try, keep going, and care about along the way. 13. Being humble and always learning are important. Being humble and always learning are basic building blocks for living a useful life and going forward with purpose. It was clear to the Stoics that if you are not humble, you cannot really learn, because pride keeps you from open to new ideas and seeing your own flaws. Starting out in poverty is not a drawback at all. In fact, it's a great chance to learn basic skills that over time become the basis for real growth. No matter how small the first step seems, it is a lesson that will make us stronger and better prepared for bigger tasks in the future if we accept it with humility. An attitude of pride makes us think we know everything, are better at some things, or don't need help from others. This is when we can't handle things properly. This way of thinking not only stops us from growing, but it also saves us from great chances. We miss the lessons that small starts can teach us when we put them down. Not being humble also makes us defensive. When we hear criticism which stops us from getting better, we don't see mistakes as a normal part of learning. Instead, we see them as dangers to our ego, which keeps us from moving forward. The answer is to change the way we look at things. If we approach every job with the right mindset, no matter how straightforward or routine it may seem, it can be a chance to learn and grow. Marcus Aurelius instructed us not to dislike any action because everything we do has the potential to help us grow. While we shouldn't try to be perfect, this does mean that we should stick with the process and know that every little bit helps. When we work with humility, we know that even in things we think we know a lot about, there's always more to learn. This method not only makes our experience better, but it also lets us connect with others in a more genuine way. Being open to new ideas and accepting that we can always get better are two ways to value continuous learning. The Stoics believed that we should think about ourselves and be critical of ourselves, but not as a way to judge ourselves, but as a way to find ways we can improve. We can face challenges and get past our own limitations better. If we value helpful feedback and ask people with more experience for help, we can say, "I don't know," without fear or shame. When we are humble, because we know that real learning starts when we admit we don't know something. When we put ourselves in a humble position, we lay the groundwork for steady and long-lasting growth. We don't rush to meet short-term goals or look for easy ways to get things done. Instead, we do the work every day that will make a difference in the long run. The risks of excessive pride and complacency are also avoided by adopting this mindset. This is what we know. Growth is a process, not a goal, and every accomplishment is just one more step on a road that always teaches us something new. Being humble doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are strong inside. Knowing that we aren't perfect, but that we can get better every day is what it means. This way of doing things not only helps us, but it also motivates those around us. We produce an environment that helps everyone grow. When we work with humility and a desire to learn, it makes people more likely to share their thoughts and experiences, which broadens our own views and makes our relationships stronger. Stoicism tells us that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can change how we react to them. Being humble and interested in everything around us helps us make the most of every situation. No matter how hard or unexpected it is, we don't fight change or be afraid of the unknown. Instead, we see it as a chance to get better and learn something new. This way of thinking not only gets us ready for the hard things in life, but it also helps us live with meaning and thanks. To build a worthwhile life, you need to be humble and keep learning. You can always learn, grow, and get better. No matter what stage you are in, you get closer to your best self and get ready to face life with knowledge and strength every time you take a humble step. This way of thinking changes not only what you achieve, but also how you feel in every moment, changing even the smallest problems into chances to grow. Number 14, being unique is a strength. Everyone has a unique mix of skills, experiences, and abilities. The thing that makes you special is also one of the most valuable things you can give to the world. Stoicism tells us that we should live in line with who we are instead of trying to fit into a mold or picture that doesn't match who we are. There is no one else like you who has the same thoughts, beliefs, or experiences as you. This gives you the power to make the world a better place. Your uniqueness not only makes you who you are, but it also gives you power and helps you face life with confidence and clarity. We start having trouble when we give in to social pressure. Trying to fit in with what other people want is something that all of us do somewhere a lot of the time. Society, social networks, and the place where we live force us to live in a certain way. That seems right. The need to fit in can make us hide our real feelings, our interests, and our unique thoughts. When we do this, we separate ourselves from our true selves and lose the power that comes from being who we really are. People who are afraid of being judged or not meeting outside standards may give up the things that make them special and lose their voice in a sea of conformity. Stoicism says that the best way to solve problems is to accept our differences and see them as what makes us strong. We shouldn't try to be like other people. Instead, we should focus on what makes us unique and valuable as people. Not being greedy when you accept yourself is a sign of understanding. Stoicism teaches us that we can't change other people's thoughts or the way things happen in the world, but we can change how we respond to them. Let go of our fears and show the world who we really are. This will not only free our own energy, but it will also encourage others to do the same. For the most part, what makes us special is what makes us stand out. Just because we accept our differences doesn't mean we should stop learning and getting better. The opposite is true. Realizing how special we are means realizing that each of us brings something to the group, and that something isn't found by blindly following others' leads, but by going our own way. If you have a unique idea or skills that not many people have, don't hide because you are afraid of being different. That difference is actually what gives you power. The world needs different ideas, ways of doing things and answers, and we can only make the best contribution if we are honest. So to live truly, we need to know who we are and act in ways that reflect that. We don't have to ignore social rules or reject criticism. We just need to be clear about what really speaks to us and what doesn't. If you follow a road that isn't your own, even if it seems like everyone else is doing it, you will get farther away from who you could be. We can learn what is true for us and what is not, through the Stoic practice of thought. And by doing so, we can gradually change our lives to better reflect who we really are. When we accept what makes us different, we can live a life with purpose and honesty. Instead of living your life to please other people or to keep up with the latest trends, you bring a unique point of view that no one else can. When you do this, you become a lighthouse. For people who are trying to find their own voice, you show them that being themselves is not only okay but important. You shouldn't just be different for the sake of being different. You should know that your real self is important, and that by expressing it, you make the world a better place. Being unique as a skill not only lets you be yourself, but it also gives you the power to change the world and leave a lasting impression in the end. Nothing makes you happier than being true to yourself and knowing that everything you do and choose makes you the person you were born to be. 15. Share and give back. Giving and sharing is one of the most important things you can do to change the world for the better. The Stoics teach us that the best way to get rich is not to get more things for yourself, but to help other people and make them happy. Sharing something like time, thoughts, or resources not only helps other people, but it also helps you reach your own goals. It's hard to explain your effect on the world when you choose to share what you have. In addition to making a circle of growth and kindness, this ties you to a cause bigger than yourself. Stoicism is a way of life that constantly tells us that ego and the selfish pursuit of power or wealth are not the ways to happiness. Sharing gets us closer to each other and gives us a way to make a real difference in the lives of others, instead of just gathering things for ourselves. As an example, Marcus Aurelius knew that being good meant doing things that helped other people. Contribution doesn't always have to be something tangible. It could be the time you spend teaching, the ideas you share to motivate others, or just listening and helping those who need it. Every move has the ability to make things better. Sharing is good for both you and the person you are giving to. You improve your own knowledge and skills when you teach or help others. Sharing something useful with someone, like a life lesson, a useful skill, or just your time, helps you remember what's really important, especially when you teach. You not only help other people, but you also get to know things better. Realizing that what you do makes a difference in the world around you helps you figure out what your meaning is. It's not just about what you've done for yourself, it's also about what you can do for other people. Contribution is also helped by being recognized, but Stoicism doesn't teach you not to look for approval from other people. There's no price for the happiness you feel inside when you know you've helped other people. When you help other people grow, you get a deep and permanent sense of respect. That doesn't depend on what other people think. It comes from knowing that you did the right thing. Knowing that you have been honest and kind is what makes this kind of praise. Grow the Stoics. Put a high value on these traits. One of the best ways to live by this idea is to spend time teaching, inspiring, and helping other people. It doesn't matter how big or small your effect is. Just giving your time and knowledge is making the world a better place. Spend some time on other people's accomplishments instead of just focused on your own. What you've given is what really counts as success, not what you've gotten. Not only does this attitude help you live by your Stoic principles of virtue and wisdom, but it also helps you leave a good memory that lasts beyond yourself. Sharing is another way to connect with other people. The world we live in is linked, and everything we do can have effects that last longer than our own lives. Helping other people makes our lives better as well as theirs. By sharing, we build a network of support and togetherness that can grow and spread, making a group of people ready to assist and encourage one another. This link helps us remember that we are not alone, that our lives are meant to be more than just about ourselves, and that our happiness is linked to other people's happiness. Most of the time, giving and helping others makes our lives more important. It helps us remember that our goal is not to be praised for what we have, but for what we have given. You can help others by giving your money, time, or ideas. Each gift has a ripple effect that not only helps others, but also fosters your own growth. When you are generous, wise, and connected, sharing and helping others become the way to a happy life. When we commit to sharing and giving back, we cultivate a rich tapestry of human connection. This bond is vital not only in building a supportive community, but it also reinforces the idea that we are all part of something greater than ourselves. The act of giving brings about a sense of belonging and purpose. By contributing to the welfare of others, we remind ourselves of the value of compassion and cooperation, which can often be lost in a fast-paced, individualistic society. Moreover, giving also opens the door to mentors and new opportunities. As we share our knowledge and experiences, we position ourselves as learners and teachers alike. This dual role enhances our perspective and encourages a culture of reciprocity where knowledge and support flow in multiple directions. Every interaction becomes a chance to inspire others, as well as to receive encouragement and insights that fuel our personal development. It is essential to remember that the impact of our contributions need not be grandiose. Small acts of kindness can resonate profoundly, reminding those around us that they matter. A simple smile, an encouraging word, or a listening ear can uplift spirits and kindle hope. Stoicism teaches us that our actions, no matter how minor they seem, can become significant if they come from a place of genuine care and intention. In a world increasingly driven by material success, we should not underestimate the importance of emotional and social wealth. By valuing relationships over possessions, we create a sanctuary where individuals feel safe to express their true selves. This environment fosters openness and vulnerability, critical components of authentic connections. Ultimately, when we embrace the mindset of sharing and giving, we not only nurture a vibrant community, but we also cultivate our own inner joy and fulfillment. Life's true richness emerges from the bonds we build, and the lives we touch. It is in the myriad of interactions and experiences that we discover our shared humanity and purpose. Choosing to give of ourselves is one of the most profound ways to enrich our own lives while positively impacting the world around us. When we begin to embrace the notion of shared humanity, we open ourselves up to a broader understanding of empathy and connection. Empathy, a powerful force, allows us to relate to others' experiences and challenges. By practicing empathy, we develop a deeper appreciation of the struggles faced by those around us, thereby strengthening our bonds. It is through these connections that we find fulfillment in shared triumphs and setbacks alike. One can further enrich their environment by actively listening and validating the experiences of others. When we take the time to hear what someone has to say, we acknowledge their value. This practice cultivates trust, encourages dialogue, and fosters an atmosphere where everyone feels safe to share their true feelings and aspirations. In doing so, we create a haven of support that not only benefits the individual, but enhances the community as a whole. Moreover, collaboration becomes a central theme in our journey of giving back. By working together on projects or initiatives, we harness the unique strengths of diverse individuals. This collective effort sparks creativity, innovation, and resilience, proving that we are stronger together than apart. Each person brings something valuable to the table, and in understanding that we can create solutions to problems that might seem insurmountable when tackled alone. As we explore the virtue of gratitude, we should recognize that being thankful fosters a mindset of abundance. Gratitude invites us to appreciate what we have and motivates us to share our blessings with others. This practice not only elevates our own emotional well-being, but also illuminates the lives of those we touch with our generosity. The cycle of gratitude and giving becomes a rhythmic dance that amplifies positive energy and connection. Ultimately, as we nurture these relationships through empathy, connection, collaboration, and gratitude, we create a legacy of kindness that resonates beyond our own lives. We sow seeds of hope, encouragement, and change which can flourish in the hearts and minds of others. Knowing that our actions can inspire a ripple effect of positivity encourages us to act with intention and purpose. In this journey, we realize that the essence of life lies not in what we accumulate, but in how we lift each other up. By focusing on the well-being of others as passionately as we do our own, we enrich our existence and contribute to the collective growth of humanity. Together, we can forge a path of understanding, compassion, and lasting change, reminding us all that the most profound impacts come from the simplest acts of kindness. By fostering an environment rooted in empathy and support, we also encourage vulnerability among those in our circles. When individuals feel safe to express their fears and hopes, they open the door to deeper connections and shared understanding. This sense of belonging is transformative, allowing people to rise above their doubts and insecurities. As we learn to embrace our vulnerabilities, we empower others to do the same, creating a culture where authenticity is celebrated and nurtured. Furthermore, embracing diversity within our communities enriches the tapestry of human experience. When we acknowledge and appreciate different backgrounds, perspectives, and stories, we cultivate a vibrant, inclusive space where everyone feels their contributions matter. This diversity of thought and experience inspires innovation and creative problem-solving, illustrating that varied viewpoints often lead to the most robust solutions. By championing inclusivity, we not only enhance our relationships, but also stimulate growth for everyone involved. Commitment to compassion extends beyond our immediate circles. It influences our larger communities and the world at large, reminding us that every action counts in the grand scheme of humanity. As we engage in volunteering efforts, advocacy, or simply spreading kindness to strangers, we create echoes of positivity that can inspire others to follow suit. This ripple effect can transform society, encouraging a collective movement toward a more caring and supportive world. Moreover, establishing rituals of appreciation within our communities can fortify our bonds significantly. Regularly acknowledging the value each person brings, whether through simple thank you notes or community gatherings, reinforces the shared understanding that we are all integral parts of a larger narrative. Such practices not only elevate morale, but also nurture a spirit of gratitude that permeates our interactions, enhancing collaboration and mutual respect. Lastly, as we navigate this journey of shared humanity, it is essential to practice self-care. We can only lift others when we care for ourselves, body, mind, and spirit. Prioritizing our needs allows us to bring our best selves to our relationships, ensuring that our contributions are genuine and impactful. Balancing self-care with selflessness creates a sustainable model for giving that fosters long-term fulfillment and joy. In conclusion, as we intertwine empathy, vulnerability, diversity, and compassion into our lives, we not only enhance our individual experiences, but also weave a rich fabric of connection that uplifts humanity itself. We become the catalysts for change, fostering a world that thrives on kindness, support, and understanding. Ultimately, this journey is about recognizing and nurturing our shared humanity, cultivating a legacy built on trust, love, and genuine connection, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of all we encounter.